Rondo, I finna slam dunk. Get big on you fake pumps. That pump ain't no fake pump. Bitch fell for the pump fake. Got him talking like first take. Get it right on the first take. Hit the hole in the first.
Kel over here thirsting. Stan on the same shit.
Yes.
Mic check, mic check.
Yes, sir.
Another episode of Sit Down with Slim, man.
Get to work.
We got a returning guest that we ain't had in a minute. My dog Stan the man. Another returning guest, that's the president, so we got to make sure this episode is PG, because he said one day he wants to run against me.
I'm not running against you.
You might have to.
I'm not going to be on that campaign because you're not going to like me. Radical Rodney is going to be boring. And the people going to get tired of them commercials.
Dog, you going to be mad as hell if I'm red and you blue, ain't it?
I ain't going to be mad. You just got to be, it's
I'm going to be on my shit.
It's going to be war, bro.
I'm going to be on my shit. That nigga Trump, he put out the blueprint. All I got to do is follow the master.
You call him master?
The master.
Man, he call him master.
The
man.
master.
It sounds like you said master, bro. I'm gonna be real, bro.
You would turn into something like that.
Had like some crazy addiction with Trump. You call that nigga master.
The master.
You got that shit, man.
Man, let me see that torch, man. This nigga Kel is crazy, man.
You just call Trump master.
Anyway, man. First thing first,
y'all
man.
Love this nigga.
How was y'all boys' New Year's, man? See, I called you boys next.
We the Proud Boys now?
Yo.
We drinking monkey shoulder. It's all kind of damn shit going on, man.
Yeah, monkey. Boy, it's a lot of racial
It's three
slurs
monkeys
going
on there, you know what I'm saying? Niggas might be like, it's three monkeys at the table drinking it.
How you feeling, Kel? There's a lot of
feel
racial
great.
shit.
Some bullshit.
I feel great. That shit don't faze me.
Yeah. Stan, how your New Year's was, though, bro?
New Year's was straight, man. I was working, man. So, I was working, but I wasn't really working. I was playing the game most of the day. I was over here with the laptop up, making sure no calls and no emails came through. Other than that, I was chilling, brother.
No, I stayed in the house. Me and my girl, we was just chilling in the crib watching movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even drink. 12 o'clock, we did our little countdown. And that was that.
Oh, you're not old then. If you stay up to 12, you're no longer an old man.
Oh, after that, it was bedtime, baby.
So, funny thing that you said that, bruh. Cause I seen everybody online talking about that. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't be staying up like that no more, man. I be going to sleep by 10 o'clock, 10:30. So, man, it was like 11:30 came. I was like, I'm about to say, fuck this midnight shit, bro. Just take my ass to sleep, bro.
I almost passed out, too.
Yeah, I stayed up, you know what I'm saying. I was working on my little board over there and shit, you know what I'm saying. Little tradition that I started. And that, man.
I meant to ask you that before we start rolling, but
we can talk about it on here.
What's the whole workspace that you got going on over there?
All right, so the workspace here, that is, I start school Monday.
Okay.
So I have that set up. So basically what it is doubles as a laptop stand and a cooling pad for the laptop. Because it is a high performance laptop. So like if I, running some gaming or something like that on there, the fans is, kick on and shit. So with the cooling pad, it's supposed to help to keep the laptop even cooler, even though it has internal fans, but there's also 5 fans inside of the cooling pad as well. But it doubles as a stand because when you're using the laptop, if you're working or, going to school or whatever, you're doing something for a long period of time, you really shouldn't have the laptop like eye level or whatever. You need to have it like a little bit elevated because it can have like bad, adverse effects on your neck and your spine and all that stuff.
That's what's wrong with my back right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't realize it because you just, you're doing whatever you're doing and, you ain't really paying no attention to it. But over time, you'll start to notice like your back is hurting, your neck is hurting, you feel uncomfortable. You might stand up for a little bit to stretch. But when you have it like that, it's more eye level, so it's like, it's elevated, just like if you have monitors, and it's a little bit more comfortable to, comfortable viewing space.
Bro, I wanted to ask you too. You said you start school on Monday. What made you want to go to school now at the age of 30?
So I always wanted to go to school. When I was going to school in Augusta.
Go back. My bad.
So I was going to. All right, me. I am not a quitter by nature. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And school was one of those things that kind of got past me. So I was like, I'm gonna, work to get back to school. So initially, I was gonna try to go to KSU, and then, of course, I do Uber. They started a Uber Pro program in 2019, where once you hit 3,000 trips, they'll actually pay for your school full ride all 4 years. So I was like, well, shit, if I'm already doing Uber to make some extra money anyway, I might as well take advantage of that. And that would be my ticket to getting my engineering degree. So I hit the 3,000 trips in November, applied, got accepted, enrolled in classes, and I started on Monday, bro.
Damn.
Yeah.
3,000 trips and you get a free full ride to
Free
school.
full ride. They pay for everything. The only thing they don't pay for is like books and shit like that.
So people listening, Uber might be the move.
3,000 trips. You could have just sold dope. I'm just playing.
Oh, I thought you was gonna be the president.
President of what?
Okay. For anybody that's listening that thought about voting for him in the future, you heard what he just said. I was congratulating Stan for his accomplishment.
Appreciate that, man.
Nah, nigga over here looking like Baby Suge. Talking about selling dope, smoking a cigar. I'm definitely gonna win this presidential race, dog.
Well, all right. So let me tell you.
Stan,
all right, go ahead.
if me and him was running against each other, who would you vote for? After you done heard his slogan.
I gotta hear more
chill.
though. I ain't going strictly off of that.
I didn't say that on the mic, so I get a redo.
Oh, okay, that was
A redo? Okay.
that was pre-production.
Yeah, that was pre-production.
But still, just based off me and him, who would you vote for?
I haven't heard what you running for, bro.
I'm running for the people, baby.
You running for the people?
You heard what I said. Make prostitution legal. We gonna let out first off. We freeing Kodak Black off rip. I already told you that on the way here. I got a black vote already. I don't need your vote no more.
You think people gonna rock with you just because of Kodak Black?
The black vote, which makes up what percent?
Not much.
All right. So now I can get down to the bread. That shit was fucked up, wasn't it?
Cause they gonna be like, who is Kodak Black? Are they taking pictures?
That's not for y'all. That's for that's for another percentage of the voters. But nah, Stan, congrats on your accomplishment for real though.
Appreciate it, bro.
I was thinking about school recently, and I think I got like 3 regrets in my life, and I think going to school was one of mine. That's why I asked you about the school thing, because I was curious with you. Is the going back to school thing like a self-accomplishment, or did you want to do it for your career?
Both, actually. So it's not so much to I mean, obviously it looks good on your resume too, but there's a lot of, like, as far as doing engineering, there's a lot of hands-on work you get to do with school. And if it's free, shit, I'm getting free hands-on work. Why not take advantage of that? So, I get to, learn the theoreticals and all that shit behind it, but then I also get to do a lot of hands-on work with it. So that kind of gives you some experience. And then as far as working, I've already been 5 years in management now. And I'm just going to keep furthering that. So, and I'm already in the more or less the engineering technology field. So, having that to back me, it definitely helps. In corporate America, man, I'll be honest, they do look at shit like that, especially as a black man.
For sure.
You can work as hard as you want to work, and that'll be a part. There's a portion of what they're looking at, but they want to see, some of that other stuff with it too. Certifications, the degree, and I definitely am gonna get some certification, because if they paying for my school, I can pay for the certifications. It's all good.
How much them certs be costing?
It depends. It depends on what you're trying to get. I mean, it could be a couple of $100s. It depends on what you're trying to get.
I'm going for the PMP this year.
And what is that for the people listening?
It's a project management certification.
Okay.
And it's a couple $100.
Yeah.
Well, not a couple.
Have you done any project management work yet?
I am the project center supervisor.
That's
for
what's
my
up.
job. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
I just got promoted last month, maybe.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, project management. So even with me being an operations manager where I currently work at, I do deal with some project management.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of a team called collective onboarding team, a collaborative onboarding team. And what happens is our sales team, they go meet with all the major companies and try to bring on big projects. So like right now we're doing a Dollar General project where we're doing basically it's a interactive solution where they combine the network and the alarm system all together. They'll put in like one big cabinet. So you have like your access points, all that good stuff. The actual alarm panel, the alarm system, the motions, hold up buttons, all that stuff. They try to combine it into one big solution. So we do all of that, and we do it across the country, including Canada as well.
Canada's a beautiful place. I want to move to Canada one day.
Have you ever been? You should go, man. Right now it's kind of tough, but
for my birthday.
If
everything is,
I was about to say because I know they have very strict, regulations when it comes to.
I don't even think we can get in right now.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Or you have to have a reason because they will ask you what's the reason why you coming in the country.
If them crackers can get into the capital, we can get into Canada.
Y'all heard that?
Oh.
He said, "Oh."
This nigga, dog, his run ended quick.
All I'm gonna say is, man, I'm really, just as far as that subject, I'm so not sympathetic for any of those people.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Some Trump supporters ran off in the Capitol building. Kel, I'm gonna let you go first with your thoughts because you already started spitting. And I asked you in the car on the way here, if you had any sympathy for the young lady that got killed.
All right, now that's good. When you phrase the question like that, it's just gonna sound bad, no matter what I say. Just based on how other protests in the past 2 to 3 years and riots have been handled, I guess I could say I was expecting, more rubber bullets to be flying and tear gas and stuff like that. But, I think that I don't want to say she deserved it, but I do think it was warranted. I think there should be a level of force when protecting a federal building in our country. One of the most important buildings in our country. There should be a level of force that should be used to protect that building. If what's the ISIS or somebody was breaking in there, bruh, they would have probably just blew the whole building up. They would have been guns blazing. You tell me one person gets shot and I'm supposed to feel sad?
Well, to even go even further than that, there's at a certain point you got to exercise common sense. And I'm assuming you guys have actually seen the video footage of her getting shot, right?
Mm-hmm. My favorite one is when
my favorite,
he pulled the trigger and they say "Pow!"
But if you look at it, you see the video and you see him aiming the gun. It's like a warning, hey, listen, don't stop doing this because I'm going to shoot you if you try to break through. Yeah. And they just continue doing it, and he let off the rounds, and she got shot. At a certain point, you got to exercise common sense. If you see somebody aiming a gun, they're serious about what they're trying to protect, and you're going to just keep doing it and just trying them. I'm sorry, man.
That's entitlement. That's privilege.
That's exactly what it is. And
it was a lot of white privilege being utilized.
Oh my God, man.
A lot. I ain't gonna lie, dog.
Do you think her being shot was justified? If they justified, the killings of innocent black people,
honestly, dog, I don't see how everybody lived to tell this story. I'm just gonna be real.
You think everybody should have got shot,
bruh?
It definitely. I'm not gonna be the dictator to say people should have gotten shot, but I will say is that it's a stark contrast on how we're handled because look at the two differences of what happened. You have these people protesting because they feel like Donald Trump was robbed of his votes, or even that he lost, or even just because they support him, and versus you have people protesting because we're being gunned down on national TV and on the internet. and they're like, hey, we tired of this happening. Y'all are clearly just shooting us for no reason or not a justified reason, and we getting shot with rubber bullets and tased and maced and all this shit. But then you see people barely getting injured with this situation happening, and they rush the Capitol.
They're getting help down steps,
like,
you know. And how did the wheelchair people get in there?
Man, listen, bro.
You talking about the chicken nugget?
Yeah, I think it was a boneless chicken wing.
You know, it's I mean, it doesn't send a good message, bro. I mean, you know, it's already, we not being taken serious with our protests and our causes, but then you do that on national TV, and it's like showing all these people doing all this stuff, sitting on the desk, feet up and shit, and it's like, damn, they ain't even being rushed at all. Like, what the fuck, man?
And that's another point. Like, what kind of sensitive information was these people able to access?
Yeah,
probably a lot too.
You know, because a lot of they're lawmakers, so a lot of stuff goes down in that building. So,
I got a question for y'all though. So we have peaceful protesting, which is like the BLM protest that was downtown Atlanta that actually went very well.
Right.
That's an example of a peaceful protest. We have riots. Like when Rodney King got beat up by the police, they was rioting in LA, right?
They actually called like active duty military in.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
For that.
So that's what we would classify a riot though, right? The LA movement. What would you call this invasion of the Capitol building?
I don't see how you can call it anything other than a riot. I mean, you literally broke.
I think it's something more than a riot. I think that was a terroristic threat.
It totally should have been a terror. I mean, because if any other group did the same thing, it would be classified as a terroristic attack.
I don't even think you have to like just isolate who did it. It's just the action of storming into a federal building with lawmakers while they're in session to prove a point. I mean, I don't see how that's not a terroristic attack.
And if I'm gonna take it even a step further than that, what messages is sending to the rest of the world where you have people who might be plotting terroristic attacks and they seeing how easy they're storming the Capitol and getting in? Like, that's fucking crazy.
If I was in Iraq in a cave
that's what
somewhere,
I'm saying.
I was like, oh, it's time. We about to get them.
And that's why I said that on the podcast I did with Blue. Like, this was an embarrassment, not only just for white people, but for the whole country. It's like other countries is looking at us like this. Like, they really got this going on in their country. That's like opening up the floodgates. Like, maybe we should revisit 9/11 and see where we messed up there.
I done had clubs it was hard to get into them down. They got into
that was fucking
and those videos
insane.
of the police opening up the gates and like waving people in. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
People taking selfies with them and shit. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. What we doing
ugly out here, dog?
They look like I wasn't in a uniform out there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Y'all remember that when y'all vote. Anyway, moving forward.
You gonna keep bringing it back to that?
I'm protecting the country.
Hey, Radical Kill.
Nah, Radical Rodney sounds a whole lot better.
Yeah, it do got a little ring to it. Glad my name ain't Rodney. Moving forward, I kind of want to go back to what Stan was talking about earlier with going to school and stuff.
All right.
First, I'm gonna tell y'all something, dog, and I gotta ask y'all the question. This question is really for Kel because I already got your take on school.
Okay.
3 regrets in my life, right? I had to write them down so I could remember, like Blue would say, go back to my notes. 3 regrets in my life. One of them is getting a sports car at the age of 25, 26. That was head ass. Because at the time I was making good money, doing something that I didn't even think about once if I knew I wanted to do this long term or not. But the money was good at the moment. And my mom was like, hey, you should get you a car, a sports car. I was like, you know what, I should. And my stupid ass went and got a sports car. Number 2.
I'm going to come back to that after you finish your list.
All right. Number 2. I maxed out all my credit cards. About 32 grand worth of debt. And I know to a lot of people that sounds very scary, but I did it on some stupid shit too. Anyway, moving forward, I want to move right past that. Now, number 3, the one that I know Stan probably will disagree with. I felt like going to school, and that's really number one for me. That's my number one regret. I just feel like I never should have went to school.
Mm-hmm. So what's the question?
Can I weigh in on these?
Let me ask Kel first.
Okay.
Though. How you feel about school?
It's not for everybody. I think if you have a clear path of what you want to do, then it's beneficial if school can help you get to where you want to be. If you don't know what you want to do, it still may be a good tool to find where you want to be in life. But if you know you just hate school and you still don't know what you need to do, get a job, bro. You know, go to tech school or go to the military, or just find your way. Find a way to make money off something you love to do.
Yeah.
But don't force yourself to go to school, or don't go to school to make your parents happy.
I think that's what I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like school a lot, but I felt like my mom was pushing me towards that direction, and I was like, hey, let me go make my mom's happy. And I didn't think about like what I really wanted to do with my life. Then at the time, I was watching how she was moving in the job she was working, and I was like, damn, that should have been kind of cool to have this corporate job and wear the shirt and tie and pull up in this fucking 1964 Chevelle. You know what I'm saying? And all the white women that work with me is like, oh, Slim, you're so cool.
I mean, for a 64 Chevelle, you could have just sold dope.
What's up with you that's selling dope? What's up with him, bro? Nah, 64 Chevelle is roughly $26,000 to $28,000. Bro, these niggas that sell dope, there's only like one nigga in your city that makes enough for that Chevelle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. There's one nigga in your city that can afford that car.
All right.
That sells dope.
I want to get my philosophy on school.
Okay.
So what you were saying is not incorrect. I feel like there's two types of people when they graduate high school, and based off of whatever classification you fall in determines if you should pursue school. So I used to live in Europe, and we did the pen pal thing, right? And what I noticed from other countries is that they start to prepare their I guess their high school students, if you want to call them that, they start to prepare them for the field or whatever they want to pursue in life as a career. So for instance, they get to 7th grade, they do the normal curriculum, and then once they get to like 8th, 9th grade, they start to branch off into, you're going to go to engineering high school, you're going to go to medical high school. So it's not so much of you just going to high school just to learn a general idea of everything. You're kind of groomed into what field do you want to be in, and then in high school we're going to prepare you for that. So by the time when you graduate, you will go to college for knowing what you want to do. But we don't do that enough in the States. And in the States, people kind of just go to school. It's more of general education. And when a lot of us go to college, we really don't know what the fuck we going for. We just going because we think that's what we should be doing. It's our idea of success. But a lot of the time we'll go to school for something that we think we want to go for, or we kind of just choose something to, be going to school for. And then you'll get out in the workforce, decide that that's not even really what you want to do. And a lot of people end up with a degree in something that they're not even working in. I feel like in that second category, maybe the people who weren't high school prepped for whatever career that they're trying to get into, that they should go into the workforce or military or whatever, and determine what they want to do then. And then after they determine that, then they should go to school to further their education on that, to further their career on that. And I feel like I kind of fell into both, because I initially started going to school because I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. That's what everyone else was doing. And at the time when I went, I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough to handle what we were doing. And I feel like most 18-year-olds are not mature enough to, this is what I want to do with my life. And I feel like a lot of them do go to school and they kind of waste their time in school. They fail out, or even if they do get their degree, they end up doing something completely different years later from that. But now that I've worked in different fields, I know what I want to do. So when I go to school now, there's more of a focus on what I'm trying to do, because it's not just going to school to graduate, but it's going to school to get more education and get more skills on what I want to do, to provide for myself and ultimately my family if I decide to do that. That's a different topic I'm sure we'll get into later. But so that's how I feel about it. It's two different lanes you can go to. If you're already prepared and you know exactly what you want to do.
I was gonna say that the public school system in the South is a fucking joke.
I would agree with that.
I think with all this election shit going on, all the basis is healthcare, stimulus checks and shit like that. I think our school system needs to be heavily I don't want to say redone, but something, it has to, we need a facelift.
Restructured.
Yeah, restructured. Thank you. It needs to be restructured because we get out of high school and we're just not prepared. At least for the people in my life that I know that went to just a public high school. Unless you went to like a magnet school with certain concentrations there where they prepare you, like you were saying. And a lot of that stuff, say what you want about Trump, but a lot of funding from our education system was cut under his presidency, under his administration. So, I'm hoping now that the people have spoke up. They went out and voted. Now that we have a blue,
those damn Dems.
a blue Senate, a blue House, and a blue White House. I think the only thing we don't have the majority in is the Supreme Court. I'm hoping that we can get something done now. There's really no excuses for them now. If they don't put up now, we have to. I forgot who said it, but we have to hold our vote hostage.
I agree.
And,
hold them accountable.
Yeah, we have to hold them accountable because now, y'all was screaming, "Go vote, go vote." We came out and we showed up for y'all. Now y'all have to show up for us.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it definitely needs to be. They say it all the time. The young people are the future of our nation. So, if you're not preparing them to be the future of our nation, then what does that say about our nation? It's whenever I talk to young people, man, I try to give them as much game as I can, but I try to be truthful in the same time, because I do understand. I'm not one of those old, I don't know. I guess you can consider us old heads now, maybe. We on our way.
30 ain't really.
It ain't old head. We on our way to it, though.
We just know a lot of young niggas, man. I think we need to just stop hanging out with all these younger people.
I think so too, because like when I'm in a room with like y'all, I'm okay. I ain't gonna lie. Even my friends that's the same age as me, they make me feel like I'm old.
Right. Yeah.
Because they be into shit that I don't give a fuck about.
When I'm into like my leadership programs and my networking organizations, I'm one of the younger people there.
Right.
So I feel good where I can be that bridge. Mm-hmm. But when I hang out with them young boys, they make me feel like I'm just an old lame duck. You know what I mean? Because I don't like half the shit they like. I'm not into all that stuff.
Right.
Especially when they get to getting in they I put that shit on bag. I'll be like, bruh, you see I got a sweatsuit on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I've never cared about that shit, man.
Bro, when I was young, I did care about that shit. I ain't gonna lie. But like when I start caring about my goals more,
right,
that shit went out the window, right. Bro. I haven't brought a pair of Jordans in years.
And so I'm glad you said that, because I did want to go back to the first point you made about buying a car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I am a firm believer. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, every dollar you have, you need to invest it and stuff. You should do all of that as well. But life is short and you should enjoy life. So if buying that car was something that brought you joy or brought you some type of enjoyment, then don't feel bad about that. Like, that's something that you see some of the stuff that I have in here. Not everything in here is productive per se, but these are things that I enjoy. Man. I work hard. And shit, treat yourself sometimes. Don't let people make you feel like you wasting your money on something, or because you bought something that's not an investment that it was a waste of money. No, you worked hard for your money. You can spend your money on whatever you want to spend it on.
Nah, if you broke, stop buying Gucci, Louis, Alexander McQueen, all that other crap, bro.
I agree.
Because you just look crazy because you buy one expensive item and then the rest of your shit be dusty.
Right. Well, not in the piggyback, because you said something else. Take care of what you need to take care of first, but then if you have a little extra to take, buy some stuff that you want to buy to enjoy, then do that shit and don't feel bad about it. You like, hey, I'm on top of my shit. I'm taking care of my shit. If I want to, spend a little money on something that people would maybe deem as wasteful, but it's something I enjoy, shit, I can do that. I never feel bad about it.
If I came in here with this $30 Adidas suit and some $300, $400 shoes, you wouldn't have looked at me a certain way?
Well, I don't look at people based off. I've never been a fashion guy anyway, so I probably wouldn't even have noticed, if I'm being honest with you. I judge people based off of character and what they stand for.
I do too. I can acknowledge when people look crazy.
Fair enough.
I know what you
Fair
mean
enough.
too.
I can. I feel
But see,
that.
I called the car a regret because it fit my lifestyle at the moment, and I feel like it was an impulse buy. Like at the time, I had a couple dollars in great credit, and I was like, "Oh, this fits me right now." I wasn't thinking long term. I wasn't thinking, "Slim, you're going to be 30 one day, and what are you going to be doing?" I damn sure didn't think I was going to be doing no fucking photography. And now the car just doesn't match me. And every time I watch Power, I'll be like, "Damn, I probably look like Tommy." You know how Tommy be hopping out that Mustang?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that'd be me, like a Grand Theft Auto character.
I mean, but
You know what I'm saying?
at the end of the day, a car is an investment.
Yeah, I don't think
Doesn't
it's a
matter
bad
what type of
investment.
car you have.
I'm gonna be honest. I love my car.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
guess that
matters.
should.
I'm not gonna judge you for that.
And that's why I say it's a difference between buying something that's necessary for your life versus buying something that's just for entertainment or just for you to look a certain way. I'll never frown on somebody who's buying $100,000 car or a $600 game system, because I feel you, but there's just some things that I me personally can't wrap my mind around being a consumer of.
So
that.
what you're speaking on, like the $1,200 designer shoes?
That's just so crazy to me.
It is to me too.
What if they a scammer?
I would never support a scammer.
Sound like me.
I would never support a scammer. I hate thieves, bro.
Me too.
I really do. I hate people that take from people that work hard for their stuff.
All right, so let me play devil's advocate. Scammers don't quote unquote think it's stealing from you. They think it's stealing from the big branches, because you can go to your bank and be like, "Hey, I got some fraudulent activities on my account," and they'll reimburse you, so they don't feel like it's stealing from you.
Well, the thing is, it goes back to the ideology where nothing in life is free.
Correct.
Somebody has to pay for it down the line.
That is correct as well.
So it doesn't.
And they
it doesn't
also
matter.
don't believe in inflation. They believe that these people can just continue to print money.
Okay, but here's the silly part about that, because you would claim that you're stealing from a big corporation and then go support another big corporation by buying $1,200 shoes. So I mean, what? Don't feed me bullshit.
All right, so I put out an episode this morning on Patreon, and Blue was talking about reparations, and he was talking about all black people getting, I think he said $1 million. And I said, Blue, let me tell you why. First off, that number is too big. I don't think it would happen. The number I said was probably like $10,000 for each taxpayer. And
that shit
he said that's not enough.
The economy.
It's going back to the economy if it's $1 million.
Did you listen to that part?
I did.
I said that same exact thing. I said, Blue, if you give, it don't matter if it's 10,000 or $1 million. The average black person is putting that money right back into them. And the example I used to him was tax return money. I was like, first off, your tax return is your money because you overpaid the government all year. Right. It's your money anyway. But do you know why they don't care about giving it back to you? Because you give it right back to them. Right. You give it right back to who's ever in office that has a small stake into Gucci. And Gucci goes up between the months of January and March.
That's why I like when people was complaining about the stimulus check, the amount. I was like, I wouldn't care if they gave you $600 or $6. You're gonna give it right back to them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
And it comes down to money management and people's priorities. And if you're not a person who's good with money management, you know how a lot of times people like they say more money, more problems and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of concept with people who might start off making $10 an hour and they're like, oh, if I can get a job making $15 an hour, I'll be good. And then they get a job making $15 an hour and they're in the same position. And then they end up getting a job making $20 an hour and they're in the same position because they don't have that money management skills. And when getting more money doesn't solve your issues. Your issue is managing what what you have to take care of. So if you have certain bills that you have to take care of, if you you're not properly investing your money or whatever, getting more money is not going to help that. You're just going to have more money to do more reckless shit with.
Fact.
To be honest,
if you really want to fuck a nigga head up, break down to him how much money they actually pay in taxes. When you think about the federal income tax, the state income tax, Social Security, sales tax, property tax, literally, I would say 65 to 70% of your money goes into paying taxes, and people don't realize that there's a tax on every single thing that you consume.
True.
So when people kind of like realize how much you're giving to a government that you say you hate, no matter what level of government, you just got to humble yourself, because no matter what, you're going to have to pay them people. But don't just act like, okay, because I have $100,000 job, I'm better than this next man that's doing the exact same thing as you, because y'all all paying the same person.
Yeah.
Speaking of that $100,000 job, just to switch gears a little bit, have y'all been seeing these recent podcasts that's been quote unquote going viral? And I think the term going viral needs to be eliminated, because I don't think people know what viral is.
I only watched 2 podcasts, by the way.
What podcast is that?
Joe Budden and Sit Downs with Slim.
My nigga.
If I'm being honest, I'm probably in that same boat. I do watch More Than the Masters. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch it as much as Sit Down with Slim, but I do catch it when I can. Like, generally, this is kind of like how it works.
I watch 85 South too.
There's not even more watching, because I'm not home enough to watch. When I'm doing Uber and stuff like that, I listen to podcasts. So I'll do Joe Budden, and then I do Sit Down with Slim, and then after I'm done with both of those, then that's when I'll kind of go to like the Drink Champs and More Than the Masters and all of those.
I listen to More Than the Masters if Slim on it.
No, it's some good episodes even without Slim on it. I'm
just saying, for me,
I don't know the actual like release dates and time. Like, you have a pretty consistent release date. Yeah. Joe Budden has. So when it comes to consistency, I know when somebody's dropping. Like, first thing I wake up in the morning, I get dressed, I go to the gym, all this stuff, and then I'm like, all right, it's Tuesday morning, I know Slim about to drop, and then Slim drops, and then I'm listening to
Friday, 85 South drop.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you don't have a consistent schedule, then it's a little bit harder for me to stay on top of your content like that. So I'll kind of catch it when I can catch it at that point.
I think that's what a lot of, like, I don't want to call them indie podcasters, because all podcasts are supposed to be indie, but a lot of like podcasters, they don't understand that it's all about the consistency. Same day, same time. That's the people that's checking for them. But these podcasts that's been trending on Twitter lately, the black ones, I should say, they all have been talking about the same topic, and that's the women saying either I can only date an entrepreneur or a dope dealer, or basically saying like, fuck a nigga with a 9-to-5 even if he's making $400,000 a year.
That's fine. I'll just stay away from them then. Like,
but do you see those women when they say that? Like, do you just like look at them and just like, kind of go to the next thing?
Okay, the reason why I look at it weird is because I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't make that much money. I'm gonna sit here and keep it a buck with everybody. I don't make that much, so I'm like, oh, you would fuck with me, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't make 6 figures. versus fucking with this guy that makes 400,000 and goes to clock in.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not about what you make. It's about your lifestyle. It's about,
I agree.
just not somebody who, I'll say, like for myself, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I'm doing the exact same thing every week of the year.
Same.
You know what I mean? So just somebody who is flexible, I guess.
Okay. I see the approach that you take it from, but I think it's a trend amongst these women that say things like that. Like besides, girl, we were just talking about in the baby video. What's her name?
B Simone.
Yeah, B Simone. She's an entrepreneur also, but a lot of women that say these things, I don't know. I haven't researched these women, but they don't look like someone that's.
They just want somebody to pay for their Brazilian butt
Yeah.
lift.
And Stan, I wanted to ask you, because you're 30 years old and you're single. Like, does that kind of like make you be like, damn, it might be kind of hard out here in the dating world?
I don't give a fuck about that shit. If I'm being honest with you, man, when people have superficial ass ideas and shit like that, man, I'm like, all right, well, you just stay away from me then. I don't want nothing to do with you. If that's what you want, you can follow whatever you want to follow.
Yeah.
I won't pursue you. They ain't got shit to do with me.
And that's why I said on the ride down here, I was like, both men and women who criticize a certain man or woman that thinks a certain way, those aren't the people that's checking for you anyway.
Right.
So why even put that type of energy into the world when you're never going to talk to this girl and she's never going to approach you anyway, and vice versa. So it doesn't really even matter at the end of the day.
See, the type of guy that I am, and with me being single as long as I've been single, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've become very confident. I've gained a lot of self-confidence in being single, and there's a lot of shit that I probably would have like taken back in the day that I'm just not taking now. And
Like,
if you
give me
got
some examples.
for instance, something like that. Oh, you do a 9 to 5. You're not an entrepreneur. Conversation over. We ain't got nothing else to talk about after that. Because because if I ask you, what's your reason for saying that? What would deter you from being interested in me because of the fact that I work a 9 to 5 versus being an entrepreneur? If you can't give me a good answer, then it sounds like you're just following a trend, and I don't want nothing to do with you anyway. But she might have a good answer, but a lot of people don't, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people follow trends, and it's like, all right, well, too, that's cool. I mean, if that's what you want, I'm not gonna knock you for it, but I ain't about to chase you either. Like, I know who I am, so if you ain't fucking with what I got going on, then oh well.
So would you date an Instagram model?
I wouldn't date anyone that seeks attention. So no. Like,
Even if that's their because I mean to a certain extent, I guess a female rapper or somebody in the entertainment industry. Because technically I would say that you seek attention because you are a creator. So I mean, you wouldn't want somebody like yourself.
So it's all case by case scenarios. So like, I can't sit here and be like, no, I would not date an Instagram model. It just depends, like, what type of headspace that this person is. If they're, like, generally speaking, most Instagram models want to post a picture and they seek validation from the public.
But
So
what if that's their job? That's their livelihood.
if that's their job and that's their livelihood, it's all about what their values and their morals are.
Gotcha.
So if it's the person that's like, I mean, you may disagree with this, but typically most Instagram models seek that attention. If it's somebody that's the stereotype Instagram model, probably not. But if it's somebody that does that for their job and they're grounded and they have strong values, I'll fuck with them.
I'm okay with you seeking attention, if it's something that's like, to better you or whatever. However, I do need you to have some type of self-confidence, and if your confidence is based solely on how many likes and stuff that you get, then I can't fuck with that, because then you're easily influenced by what other people are saying about you. I do want you to have a self-confidence, but you can have self-confidence and still chase that, chase those algorithms and stuff. So it depends on that. It's all about self-confidence, man. I gotta have somebody that's self-confident because I'm also self-confident. You gotta have a strong personality.
And I can tell you, For sure, Kel. I'm not one of them people that get online and be like, I hope today's the day that I get 1 million likes. I don't care about that shit. Like, I don't even post selfies. And when I do, like, take pictures, bro, I either have somebody take the pictures for me or I have the camera on the tripod and I'll be super, like, uncomfortable. Like, I don't really care about taking no pictures and posting no picture online, bro. And it be purposes to my pictures I post.
It's okay for you to want 1 million likes. It's not okay for you to get down in the dumps if you don't get it.
Yeah.
Because you can, shoot for the stars, but if you don't get it, don't make it seem like you less of a person and shit because you didn't. That just didn't work the way you needed it to work. And then you just go back in the lab.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. The reason I don't post on Instagram no more is because, like, I will post something, like, with somebody else, and they'll get 200 likes. And if I post something myself, I get 20 likes. I said, nah, this shit ain't for me.
They got you fucked up.
If I'm being transparent, bro, when I post stuff, most of the time I post stuff, it's for me. So like a lot of the time I be so busy too. So a lot of the time I'll post something, I don't even really go back and look at like what the likes and shit is.
But you like that? You?
No, it's nice having it, but don't get me wrong. Like if I post something and I like it, it's gonna stay on there. You know, so I post gaming shit, it ain't gonna get a bunch of likes. I mean, a lot of people don't like seeing a grown man as a gamer.
Okay, but like shit like that, just stuff that you own, that's cool. But if I post a selfie and I get 13 likes, I'd be like, nah, that ain't it. Delete.
Oh, are you?
I'm not
doing
that. I'm not doing that.
When your girl will get 200 likes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
They love that shit. And if I post myself, they be like,
I tell you, dog. I tell you one thing about the internet too, bro. Like, the internet is a straight highlight reel. Like, as long as you post some highlights, they fuck with you, bro. You could literally post right now and say, I want to blow my brains out. Mm-hmm. You probably get a couple comments. Nobody that really gives a fuck.
No, it'll be engagement.
I'm gonna take it a step. I'm gonna take it a step further. There is a community that does that specifically because there's a lot of views and a lot of response to those type of posts. Like I'm depressed, and I've been a person that's been depressed. I currently deal with anxiety, but there is a demographic of people who strictly post those type of things because that's what gets the most engagement on their page.
Right.
I don't, like I said, again, a lot of the time when I post stuff, I don't even go back to, I'll go back and I'll see it as I log into the app to check other stuff on it, but I post stuff and I just keep it moving.
Yeah, I got a homeboy like that he had posted he was going to kill himself one day, and, he had me calling his phone,
right,
calling his sister, calling his mama, and they was like, his sister hit me back, was like, that nigga just tripping because he trying to figure out how he gonna pay his rent.
It's stuff like that, or they broke up with the girl or something like that. I don't like that, man.
That nigga on everything. I can't do that. If you're not mentally stable to let rent, break you.
I'm gonna tell y'all something that might sound a little insensitive, so I got to give a disclaimer before I say it. But I feel like 2024. Nah, I'm just keeping it real.
No, keep it real.
I feel like most people aren't really depressed. Like, most stuff stems from like you ever had a nigga be like, I got these demons. I got these demons on me. No, nigga, you don't have no demons. You broke as fuck, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You not depressed, nigga. You broke, nigga. Of course, being broke can bring depression, but it's not that, these demons on you because, no, nigga, these demons is on you because you broke and you ain't got nowhere to live.
I'm not gonna say that they're not depressed because of that. Because
but
I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying. There are people who, like, for instance, have y'all at some point in your time in y'all life, have y'all been gamblers?
Yeah.
Okay. So you gamble.
I 100% agree with that. But keep going.
I don't 100% agree, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like I said, you could be in a situation where you might have bet your last on gambling. I've been that person. You know what I'm saying? And when you lose that money at the time, you probably are really depressed.
Oh, you've been there before?
Yeah, and it might not be what people like. All right, man, there's more shit to be.
Word to use.
So when does self accountability come into play?
Wait. I think that's the wrong word to use because there are people who's seriously struggling with depression, and it doesn't matter what's going on in their life. That's just who they are and how they operate. So I think just piggybacking off of your point, I think you're saying that people aren't built as tough as you think they should be. Because I'm the type of person, I've been broke all my life. You know what I mean? So that shit built my character where it's to the point where if I don't have something and I know something is due, I don't give a fuck really, because I've never had to be without. You know what I mean? I've always made a way. Or God has always made a way, however you want to get into it. Mm-hmm. But it's just certain things that I've been through. And not to keep going back to this capital shit, but these motherfuckers mad about a vote. Those type of people, they never been through any real life shit. You know what I'm saying? You Correct. Motherfuckers can have their dog get ran over by a fucking car and they ready to blow their fucking brains out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When all of us, we had to grow up with a chip on our shoulder and seeing real life shit, not just shit on movies. The stuff that they're looking at the news and seeing, we see every day in real life. So we're built tougher. And a lot of times when people be online, saying they're depressed, and then they just want you to engage, and they're like, oh man, shit, bro. If you can, let me get $20. You know what I mean? Shit like that. It's sad to kind of piggyback off of people's real problem. Because, kind of like all the flack Charlamagne used to get for all of the anxiety and all that other shit, He's
definitely annoying with that shit also.
And it is people that need help, but, I hate people who kind of pick at people's emotions and to make themselves better. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Kel, I want to tell you too though, like, I used to feel that way also about as far as like people just not being as mentally tough as like I use me as an example, mm-hmm. but like dealing with some of my closest friends, especially the ones that's passed away, mm-hmm. I realized that you can't really expect somebody to be in the same headspace that you're in. Correct. Everybody deals with trauma differently. Like Correct. I'll speak on my childhood, not childhood, but as a teenager, we was like best friends, and we literally like went through the same things. Mm-hmm. And the way he would handle it would be totally different from how I would handle it. Like, mm-hmm. it'll be situations like you were saying about like being fucked up, being broke, and you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'll give a perfect example, and I actually want to talk to you about this. A situation that me and him both dealt with that was similar was we both grew up without our real dads, and we both had stepdads, right? My stepdad left when I was in like 9th grade, 10th grade-ish. His stepdad stayed around for a little while. They broke up after, like, when we was grown men, and they got back together, whatever. But how he handled not growing up with his dad and growing up with a stepdad was totally different from how I did. Mm-hmm. Like, totally different. And I used to just be like, bruh. Like, he would sit around and be like, man, life would be so much better if I had my dad. Mm-hmm. And I used to be like, bruh, how you gonna miss something you never had?
And see, but everybody's different. To put it in perspective,
that's what taught me that, though.
Me and Staley grew up together. Mm-hmm. And me and him are totally different people.
Shout out to Staley. That's my nigga, too.
Yeah. Is that your brother? Or?
Nah, that ain't my brother. But, well, he's my brother, but he's not blood. You know
okay.
What I mean?
Yeah.
But
Staley a funny-ass nigga, too.
Me and him react to things a whole lot.
He's trying to say Staley is sensitive, and Staley is, because every time I drive on Staley, he gets so fucking mad. Then he be like, he gonna do me like he do you.
What? Swing on me?
Nah, block me on Facebook.
Oh. Nah, Staley swing on me.
Oh, you get that nigga that bad. See, I know, like, I can tell when I say a joke to Staley and he ain't feeling it, I can tell, and I leave him alone. You probably keep going.
Yeah, Staley can fight though.
Yeah.
So, Staley can be as sensitive as he want to be because he can fight. But, there's other people that, should just leave that stuff alone.
We was talking about, like, the whole growing up without the dad thing. And you know what I've been realizing lately with that is, so I kind of brushed it off growing up. Like I just said, my homeboy was really on it. And one thing I've been realizing lately is that I feel like growing up not seeing a healthy relationship kind of affects how I approach relationships.
Me too.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that because Stan, you grew up with your parents.
I
and,
did.
Like, yeah, I wanted to ask you, Kel, like, how did first off, was your mom single the whole time you was growing up?
Yeah.
How do you think that affects how you deal with your relationship today?
I think I get more from like seeing my father and his different relationships, because I think like right after my mom, he went to jail. No, he didn't go to jail. He got like another girlfriend and had her name tatted on him, and that shit like pissed me off. And then like after that, I think he got back with my mom and then went to jail, and then when he got back out, like 2 days after he got out of jail, he got married and moved to Atlanta. And I think just my relationship with him is kind of showed me what not to do in a relationship. You know, but I mean, I don't know. Because even though my mom and my dad didn't have a healthy relationship, I'm turning this rapper up.
I see. I wanted to snatch it from you a minute ago till you start really fucking it up.
Oh yeah, I don't care about the shit. But even though my mom and dad didn't make it, you know, both sets of my grandparents are still married. I have 3 sets of aunts and uncles that have been together for at least since I was born. So I've seen healthy relationships.
Okay.
So I've always had those examples.
My fault.
And
No, you good, bro.
and I think, you know, my dad had 3 sisters, and then it's my mom and her brother. I grew up around mostly women anyway, so I have this respect for women that I would never try to do them wrong. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of approach it from just my upbringing, because there wasn't a lot of men around.
I see it like so. For me personally, it's one of those situations where it's this story I just gotta tell. Like when I was in kindergarten, and of course I don't remember this. I remember a lot of stuff from my childhood, but I don't remember this. My mom loves telling this story. When I was in kindergarten, my mom walked me to school, and I think it was like the second or third day of school. First day I was a little nervous because a lot of people don't know I was real shy growing up. Literally, like probably all the way up till I was in like 11th grade.
You broke
I
out
was
of that
shy as
shit.
hell. You think so?
Yeah.
I think so.
Believe it or not, I still am. Like I got like real bad social anxiety. I just play it off, and I'm always like the spotlight in the room. So you just got to learn how to deal with that shit.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of the same way. I do. Well,
Yeah.
I've probably gotten better with it.
It's
now.
the charisma. Like people are attracted to that charisma.
Yeah, but there is a level of social anxiety. Like if I'm about to go somewhere, somebody invites me somewhere where I know it's gonna be a lot of people there. I definitely kind of have like little mini panic attacks and shit.
Yeah, a nigga get the sweating and shit, face get the shining. Motherfuckers think you just got real oily skin, which I do, but nah, that's because I'm
You wanna know
sweating.
what's bad for me? Like, I'm a sweater. I sweat so easy. That's why I always wear hats whenever I go out. Because I don't give a fuck if it's 30 degrees outside. Nigga, I'm going to sweat. So,
See, my problem is you ever seen the movie Equalizer? And you know how he thinks about every type of scenario?
Yeah.
That's how I do with everything in life. So I'm very big on trying to think about all the different outcomes of something, even when it's not warranted. And that's kind of what creates anxiety for me. So like I try to almost be in control of every situation. And if somebody invites me to a situation where I don't really feel like I can control it, I'm going to try to analyze that situation even before I get there. And sometimes it don't even be what I was thinking it was, but that's just kind of personal.
I seen you there before.
Yeah.
Like when you hung around me a couple times and my homeboys be around, I could see you like
Analyzing. I'm definitely analyzing for sure.
But one thing I can say about Stan though, Stan always fuck with me though. Even like with the head ass situation with me getting wild. He still was like, nah, I feel like Slim right.
Nah, Slim my dog, man, forever.
Cause I definitely get in my bag sometimes.
a lot of times.
I'm calm now.
I used to be real uncomfortable around you and your friends, too.
I know. Like you always got to bring your gun in the house. I'm like, bro, you don't got to bring your gun in the house.
Yeah, it's just, I just didn't like how just some of them act. You know what I mean? Because, you know, when we hanging out, it's just, you know, real, just relaxed and calm and cool. But, you know, niggas just be kind of talking crazy and, we just did this and we some gangsters and all this
It's
other
funny.
shit.
It's funny too. I got to get back to the story I was saying earlier, but it's funny you say that because the way you handle it is totally different from the way that Kelsey handles it. Like Kelsey handles it like, oh, I gotta stick my chest out and if a nigga
jump head on it.
Yeah, like if a nigga want to shoot the one, we can shoot the one. Like he done did that shit, bro. He did that shit last time we was kicking it.
Really?
Yeah, he did that like literally like a month ago, a month and a half ago. Just out of nowhere, we was just chilling, and goddamn, he was like, "You must want to fight, Damo." And Damo was like, "Nigga, no."
Yeah.
But yeah, he did that to TJ before too. We was at Audio Crib. Yeah, he was like, "Nigga, you gonna take this shot?" And I felt like it was because of the environment.
Right.
Yeah, it does that sometimes. But back to the story. My mom takes me to school, and she's holding my hand, and I'm like, "Ma, don't hold my hand." You know what I'm saying? I'm good. She busts out crying and shit. Because she's, sensitive like that. Well, she took that to heart. My mom's one of them type people. Like, when you hurt her, she puts up the shield, and she doesn't do that shit anymore. So, I'm saying all that to say, y'all seen that movie, The Brothers? And Bill Bellamy character, like, his mom never hugged him and shit? That's how me and my mom are. We're just like that. So, I'm not a touchy-feely person. So, when I'm in a relationship, I don't really do the touchy-feely thing. And when a girl want to do the touchy-feely thing, I'm just like, bro, why you got to always touch me? And I feel like that comes from my upbringing, and also like not seeing a healthy relationship. I'm like, I don't truly know what a healthy relationship is. Like I can freestyle and use the things my mom implemented in me to build that healthy relationship. But overall, I'm like, I don't even know how to go about it. Like Christmas, I don't know how to celebrate Christmas. I had somebody tell me like, nigga, your house looks like the Grinch lives here. Where the fuck is the Christmas decorations? I'm like, bro, I don't fuck with Christmas.
If people like over the last few years, if people would have came to my crib, besides this year, I kind of tried to do a little something different. But other than that, I don't really be doing that shit either, bro. I don't be doing the decorations.
If I wasn't with my girl, it wouldn't be no Christmas tree up in my house.
That's what I don't remember the last time I put up a Christmas tree.
Do y'all feel like you should have Christmas decorations and be in the Christmas spirit and do the things that everybody else does? I'm just asking a question.
I don't personally feel like that. One, I live alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bachelor, so I don't really have. What am I putting up for? If I'm putting a tree up, it's only for me to see. I mean, I could put it on social media and everybody like, oh, it's a cute tree. But
I think I have a tree up. I think I would,
and that's fine if you want
I like
to
entertain. So
Okay.
See, I don't ever have anybody over, so it's like it's only gonna be me looking at it. It's not gonna be any gifts under the tree and stuff. Like,
see, for me, like I like to entertain. I like to cook.
Okay.
And I like to cook for people. And whenever I have people over, it's about the whole aesthetic, the whole vibe.
I will agree with that.
I have the right type of music playing depending on who's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's why you play that ratchet shit when I'm over?
Bro, I don't even
Is that
play
what you're trying to
music
say?
over there.
Bro, you played like Meg the Stallion one day I was over.
Wow, bro, you a fucking liar.
I'm just playing. It was
You would never hear me play that shit.
Nigga, I was joking. But you did play like, what did you play?
Shit.
I think it was Sierra. It was either Sierra or Beyonce.
Body yaddy yaddy yaddy.
Yeah,
No, I did play Sierra.
crib.
Yeah, it was Sierra.
Yeah. And I was like, why the fuck is you playing this? You like, I like this song.
That's some
So that's like,
funny ass shit.
It was just like a cool vibe, with me and you, we just smoke cigars and drink whiskey.
Yeah.
My
favorite hobby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not on no we're not gonna listen to fucking native sounds when we just relaxing.
Is that conscious music to you?
No.
What kind of music would you classify native sounds?
Cause
you're like their number one critic.
It's more just modern like hip hop or rap. It's the same shit as the Baby or Lil Baby or
You think so?
Can we segue real quick?
Yeah.
You asked a question on one of your pods about top 5, right? I think it was the one with Libra.
Yeah.
Who y'all top 5?
What you mean?
Rappers.
All time?
Yeah, be all time.
Like favorite or like skill?
Favorite, of course. Yeah.
Favorite?
Yeah.
My first one is Jay-Z. Number 2 is Boosie.
Okay.
I knew he was gonna say something. And then those 1 and 2, and the other 3 are not in any type of order. I have to say Wayne, Big, and I'm not gonna say Tupac, but I don't know. I'll probably throw Outkast in there.
Okay. So you could throw a group in there. Okay. Go ahead.
throw the whole group in there,
I want to
yeah.
hear what
Oh, you already know my answer. I've said it numerous times. Number 1 is Pac for sure. And the 2 and 3, I don't have 5. I only do 3. 2 and 3 is always a toss up. It depends how I feel. The other day I was in the car with my brother, and I decided that Wayne was number 2, and Hov was number 3. Right now, I feel like Hov is number 2.
Okay.
But tomorrow I might feel like Wayne's number 2. I just always have a battle between those two in my head.
All right. So I got Hov at number 1. I got Kendrick at number 2. I got Tupac at number 3. And then the number 4 and 5 are very interchangeable. A lot of the times I could say I have DMX in that. And Jadakiss. And then there's a few other people that just interchange with those two. But the top 3 definitely for me is Jay-Z, Kendrick, and Tupac, and that never changes.
I think Kendrick is the best lyricist of all times.
It's not in that he's definitely one of them. It's not even so much about lyricist though. I would say style and content.
Content, of course.
Content for sure.
Content wise, he's definitely.
And I'm gonna also give a very unpopular take. I think
If you say Eminem, I promise you I'm leaving.
no, I was gonna
Okay.
say my favorite Kendrick album is actually To Pimp a Butterfly.
I hate that album.
I know.
Really?
That's kind of part of the reason
If
I
I
brought
want to
it
read
up.
the encyclopedia, I'll go read the encyclopedia.
It's not about that though, bruh. Because I think the reason a lot of people were turned off from To Pimp a Butterfly is the beat selection. I mean,
Bruh. Okay. To Pimp a Butterfly was a beautiful album. I put that album up there with
I low key feel like it was a work of art. Not even low key. I feel like it was a work of art.
I
So
put
is
that
the
album up there
encyclopedia.
with what's the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I put that up there.
Kanye.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Kanye album.
Yeah, that's mine.
So we kind of on the same page when it comes to that. It's
But I still don't think To Pimp a Butterfly was better than Damn.
and I can understand why you say that. Damn is so I think I rank Kendrick's albums To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and then Damn. But they're all
I'm a
concept
old head.
albums.
Yeah, I think I'm an old head because I always fuck with the original albums. Like,
That's fair.
No, and that's why I can never put any of the other Carters over the Carter one. I love the first Carter because of where I was in life. I think I might have been like the 6th or 7th grade.
I'm gonna be honest
But
with
what
you,
it
dog.
did for me,
This
that
is not an
time-
opinion. The Carter 2 is the best Carter.
No, bro.
The Carter 2 is the best.
I say the first Carter, bro.
Lyrically, the Carter 2, like that nigga was next level. He was
might
in
be
his
right about
greatest
that,
rapper
actually.
alive.
You might be
Mode.
right about that. And I think that era
And I
of Lil
love
Wayne
the
is
Carter
probably the
too.
best.
And you know, it's
Lil
crazy
Wayne
because I'm
too.
contradicting myself now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying about the original album?
It's definitely between Carter 2 and Carter 3, but
I
I
was
would agree
agreeing
with you. I would agree with
when
you.
you talking about the original album.
I know, and I'm contradicting myself because that Wayne shit is like, I don't know, like
I'm gonna listen to the
I've been a
Carter
Wayne
2
fan
again.
for a long time. Like,
I know, but I can recite every word to the Carter and the Carter 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I could do it for Blueprints, all the Blueprints and all that other stuff. But,
I'll tell you something I never said on the podcast before.
oh, hot take.
I don't like Carter 3 nor 4.
Ooh,
They have zero replay value for me.
Yeah,
I can't
Yeah.
agree with 3. 4, I can see why you say that.
I
don't know if I can agree
love
with
Lollipop because it was different, and I knew Wayne was about to jump into that.
That's
pop
actually
phase.
probably one of the least
Bruh,
played songs
I
for
think
me.
I'm the only hip hop head that loves to see my favorite artist go pop. I'm the only hip hop head
Yeah,
that does.
I'm not.
I love to see my
I can
favorite artist
understand
go
why
pop.
you say that though.
I just want to see
You know honestly,
no
I-
replay value.
my top 3 songs on Carter 3, it would be what's the last song? The one where he's kind of like addressing some of the issues with Al Sharpton and all of that.
It's the song
not
That's the album.
Carter 3.
Yeah. So
it's
I got
called-
You Ain't Got Nothing. That's probably like number 2 for me.
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood is number 1. You Ain't Got Nothing is number 2. And
On that album.
It
no, it was. That was Carter 3. Misunderstood was the
Misunderstood was there. It got the sample in the background.
right. It's the last song on the album
Because
because he
the track list
raps for half of it and then he talks for half of it. It's that one, and then it's You Ain't Got Nothing.
He goes in on that song that I really respect about Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I hate Jesse Jackson.
I like that type of music. So when he does
Jesse
that,
Jackson, bro.
and more, so Kendrick has kind of a version of that of Mortal Men on To Pimp a Butterfly, and that's actually my favorite song on that album.
Yeah, Mortal Man is my favorite song on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he kind of does the same thing on that. He actually has a segment at the end of it where he's like talking to Tupac, and he's like they're talking about like current issues versus Tupac talking about. I mean, obviously it's an old interview because Tupac is not here with us anymore, but the way that they were speaking, it sounded like a current day conversation, and it's because of the issues that we're dealing with. Is really the same. It's just the same. History repeats itself, and I thought it was very genius the way that Kendrick or whoever his team was constructed that. A lot of respect for that, and then just some of the stuff that he was saying in it.
I do think before it's all said and done that Kendrick will be top 5. I just don't think he's top 5 right now.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
That's always been my opinion about Kendrick because I'm a big Kendrick fan.
J. Cole, one of his favorite songs for me is it was the album. What was the album where I guess his homeboy had died and he dedicated it to his daughter?
For Your Eyes Only.
The song For Your Eyes Only. Like he went there on that shit, and that's one of my favorite J. Cole songs of all time. Like so just some of the content he was getting into on it, I was like, wow.
Y'all think J. Cole's on the same level as Kendrick and Drake?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't really put Drake in those.
Kings.
So here's what I feel about Drake.
Bro, you have to put Drake there.
You have to put him there because
but you don't have to put J. Cole there. To me.
I think the opposite. I feel like J. Cole and Kendrick should be there because of the content, but Drake should be there because of the numbers. They all do numbers, and they all have that mystique about them that the general fan goes to them 3.
Drake said, "Everybody get your motherfucking roll on." All right.
Listen, man.
I
I feel like Drake peaked at and Nothing Was the Same, and I feel like it's been downhill from there.
And a lot of people might kill me for this shit, but Nothing Was the Same was better than Take Care.
Nothing Was the Same as his best album.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, if I have to judge Drake's albums, his best album, if he had a classic album, his classic album to me
Take Care is my favorite, but y'all probably right.
I'm not mad at that, though.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I
Y'all
understand
right.
why you say that, because I do feel like production-wise, Take Care is the best album, but I feel like Drake's peak was Nothing Was the Same, and everything from there it was kind of downhill from him.
I'm judging Drake off his next album.
Was good.
Depending on how this next album goes, even though I feel like this next album is going to be an R&B album because people have been wanting it for a long time, I'm still judging. Yeah, I'm judging him off this next album. But even though the leaks haven't been R&B songs,
no, they haven't.
Yeah.
I do think Drake is more than capable of throwing that curveball. I don't think it's gonna be an all.
Drake got some shit on this next album.
I really like when Drake got into his bag with the Know When to Say When or whatever the shit was called, where he had the song cross sample. Mm-hmm. I was like, I like this Drake. That's the Drake that I like.
I never heard that shit.
It's fire. You got to listen to it. That was when you was talking on your podcast when you were saying he was dissing his baby mom. Mm-hmm. That was the song where you said baby mama's a fluke. Yeah. That was the song right there. I like Drake on that kind of shit.
The song
it's When to Say When.
I heard a song on Jay-Z radio. It was Drake and Jay-Z that I had never heard before, and it probably was the one on. No, I know pound cake.
It was probably the one that he had on his new album. And honestly, I feel like that was the weakest performance between the two of them. They dropped the ball with that one. It's called damn, I don't remember. It was on Scorpion.
Oh, that was a horrible album.
That was not only that,
his
but
second worst
that
album.
song that was the worst song from a collaboration with him and Jay, because they had Pound Cake, they had the one that was on the album before Take Care, Light Up. That was fire. But that one wasn't it, bro. From either of them,
I liked it.
I did like
Talk Up.
Talk Up. I like the sample of it because it had the DJ Paul sample. But other than that, I didn't really like either of their verses. Like, it was like,
People need to give 3 6 Mafia their flowers.
Oh, for sure, man. Come on,
Juicy
man.
J last album was hard.
Bro,
As fuck.
I think 3 6 Mafia may be the most influential people
For
ever
sure.
in
For
hip-hop.
sure.
Oh yeah, Meg's whole career is based off 3-6.
Did you see what
Well, there's a lot of people that make an argument that Bone Thugs' whole career is based off of 3-6.
I can say that. But you see when Academics was talking shit about Meg recently?
I don't
pay attention to
it was on
like
my
that.
Facebook
I feel you,
news
though.
shit.
Yeah.
Where he was like she doesn't have a tenth of the talent that Nicki Minaj has, and that she has like one flow and it's weak or some shit like that.
Oh, I agree with him.
I can't listen to it.
But
I do like
I
that
tell
song
you,
with Juicy J.
I tell you why I wouldn't make that take. I wouldn't make that take because Meg doesn't make music for me, so I would never attack that take.
I don't like Academics at all.
I don't either. I'm trying to dissect what you just said though. See, Nicki had different phases. Nicki had the phase of Monster and all of those, like when she was like going in, like it was like, oh wow, she's really the best.
Before Monster was hard too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She had a few of those where it was like, oh, Nicki is like, she did that.
I think Nicki's problem is she lost focus and she started
That's
caring
the
about
problem.
shit that didn't
I
matter.
agree.
You know what,
I agree.
And this may sound kind of bad, but I had a gay friend, and like every time I got in the car with this nigga, like, I promise you, it's gonna be Nicki Minaj on 100.
My college roommate is a big Nicki Minaj fan. He wasn't gay, but I don't think he was.
I don't know.
I mean, either way,
I just heard it so much because he was the only nigga in the hood at the time with a car. So
she was a big advocate for the gay community, so I can understand that.
Bro, let me ask y'all a question though. Big King has this crazy take that he feels like hip hop is gonna be a white genre the same way rock and roll turned into a white genre. Do y'all feel like hip hop is gonna be? Do y'all feel like hip hop is gonna transition to an all white genre, or hip hop is gonna die?
I don't think that either of those, and I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like the suburban community has an infatuation with street culture, and because hip hop has a lot of street culture in it, I feel like it's always going to be popularized now.
and they make too much money.
But
off of it.
street rap is getting underground now.
Kind of. There's a divide.
Freddie and Benny didn't sell what they should have.
But then you got, so you talking about Benny the Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
But Griselda is probably, I mean,
it's bigger.
You could put them as like one of the top acts of the year in 2020.
So
and I think it's going to be the same for
criteria
2021.
that I speak of is I'm a big numbers person.
Yeah.
But for what? Because Griselda, you can't tell me that Griselda is living or dying based on their numbers.
Yeah, that's
Griselda
true.
is a movement that
Is
has
true.
way more going than just music. Nigga, Benny the Butcher just had a song. He has I don't know if you call it the theme song, but he's doing the song for the Buffalo Bills now in their stadium. I mean, you don't think he getting paid for that shit?
Griselda had the whatever that spark that happened with Griselda, because I just recently learned about them, probably maybe like 2019, 2018 maybe, and I would say they're probably one of my favorite groups right now.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all, we was talking about the top 5 thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we was talking about recently, and I said that Drake, Kendrick, and Cole was the 3 kings. The reason why I put those 3 up there, because first off, you know that that take isn't biased because I don't like Drake, but
Right.
But it's certain criteria I feel like you have to meet as a top artist, and one is numbers for sure. Is impact, and 3 I have to give it to consistency. But the biggest,
all 3 of them
the
check that
biggest for
off.
me personally has to be numbers, just simply for the fact of you can learn a lot by numbers as far as reach, and it's not, there's truth behind, a lot of truth behind women lie, men lie, numbers don't.
Yeah.
Because like the numbers pretty much can tell the story. Like it even goes into play with the impact. And that's why I put those top artists that I said, the top 3 of all times, is because it's about the impact. The reason why Jay-Z was in there, because Jay-Z's not in my top because of numbers. Jay-Z has never been the number 1 rapper of any time period.
He had a bunch of number ones.
He's never been the number 1 rapper of the year ever.
Y'all are both right.
He's never been
I
the
know
number 1.
He is correct when
The
he says that.
the year that he should have been number 1, that nigga Nelly was on fire. That nigga was on fire. Another year he was supposed to be number 1, Eminem was through the fucking roof. Diamond album.
So I'm trying to figure out
50
why
Cent.
do numbers
50
play?
Cent. That was a black album. 50 Cent was just scorching.
No, you're
Couldn't
right.
miss.
I'm saying,
That's what I'm saying. Y'all both
why
right.
do you rely so heavy on numbers?
Because the number speaks of who the masses generate towards.
But fuck the masses.
gravitate, excuse me.
Because I can tell you, well, from experience, I would say that Boosie had a bigger impact than a fucking Taylor Swift, and he would never sell those numbers.
I don't know if I could say he had a bigger
I
impact
have to
than
disagree
Taylor
with
Swift,
you.
though.
Dog. Okay, Taylor Swift was a bad
I was about to say,
comparison.
I was like, she was pretty popular,
Miley
bro.
Cyrus,
But
still.
Eminem.
Ariana Grande, they all kind of in that.
Do you think Eminem impacted the culture the way that Lil Boosie or a Webby or a Benny the Butcher
I try to ignore this topic, but you keep going back to it. So let me tell you my take on this Eminem thing, especially based off what Snoop Dogg said about Eminem. I think that the hip hop culture gives Eminem a lot of flack of his artistry because he is white.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I truly believe that.
I think it's half that,
Eminem
and I
is
think the
a
other half
great
is that it's
rapper.
controversial. He does a lot. He does a lot of the name dropping and all that stuff.
And also his style. He blew
and
up
I'm
off
not
a
gonna
style
give you
that
that
other
because-
artists was unable to blow up off of.
Okay, but you can't deny his ability to rap.
Oh no,
All right.
he's definitely
But
one
I'm
of the
saying,
best
and
rappers.
he has the numbers behind him. But when you talk about impact, I mean, there's no way that you can tell me that somebody who's, for the street. 'Cause who would you pick out of Gucci and Jeezy?
What you mean?
As far as impact,
Impact,
Gucci,
right? But who had the bigger reach?
Jeezy.
I'm gonna tell you,
Jeezy was more commercial.
Right.
Yeah,
But as far as impact in the streets,
we're also biased because we lived in the South.
that is true. I will give him that because in a lot of other regions,
you
most
talking
people
about
would say
numbers, though.
Jeezy.
I'm saying, but you're looking at the numbers, so you have to say Jeezy. But I see what you're saying about impact.
Right.
But I mean, if he didn't do those numbers, how
Bro,
do we know?
Gucci is a Southern legend. I've been
Exactly.
places where people don't know who the fuck Gucci is.
That is true.
My family is from Louisiana.
I didn't know who
they had
Gucci
no
was
idea
before I
who that
moved to the
nigga
South.
was until he came out with that. You're a very freaky girl. They did not know that nigga till that song.
Okay, so we're talking about impact versus reach.
Bro,
But the funny thing
this
that
conversation
what
can't
you
be
saying
biased,
that
though.
what you saying that I was gonna actually say the same thing about Boosie, that me being in the South, I realized how big Boosie was, but outside of that, I ain't really know a lot of people that was like listening to Boosie like that.
and I know that, and I guess I'm saying that impact, because when I'm saying impact, and you're saying a lot of people don't know him, we're talking about reach then, but I'm just talking about how they affect the culture of where they are.
How do you feel Boosie affected the culture?
Dog, I know
What's his
niggas
impact
that
on the
lived and died off of that, like what he was saying.
But for some reason, Kel is a really big Boosie fan.
Mm-hmm.
So he's about to defend Boosie to the death.
All right, before we do that, real quick, can I give you your flowers real quick? Let me
Go ahead.
I gotta give Slim his flowers, man. I done seen Slim come from when he first started doing this, the type of content that he would speak about and the type of guests that he would have on, to what we 3 years? You 3 years in the game now? What, 2?
Yeah,
3
I think
years?
this year 3.
This year 3.
I accomplished 2 years already. This is year
So getting into the 3rd year, man, I've seen a transformation in just the way that you handle shit, like the production level, the type of content that you speak about, the type of guests that you have on. Like I said, starting off is like, oh, I'm supporting my homeboy. Now it's like, no, this is like one of the top podcasts I listen to.
I appreciate
And
that,
you know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving you your flowers, you know what I'm saying, while you here, man.
I appreciate that a lot, dog.
And that's why, you know, you see me where I can sit down with Slim, Huddy, you know,
Man,
get your
that
shit,
nigga
man.
ain't like
Holla at
that.
him, man. get your merch.
That
His
nigga
merch
ain't
is
like
his
that.
merch is fire. His content is fire.
Get the
His
merch
merch is-
on
his merch is cool.
on
Come
Shots
on,
for
man.
Slim.
Come on.
And while Kel bullshit, I'm gonna go to his job and tell them folks he ain't like that. Fuck wrong with Kel.
Nah, holla at him, man. Holla at him. Send him away. Holla at my boy Nino too, man. That's my dog, man. My brother right there.
Nino Brown.
Nah, man. My boy Nino, man. He in Augusta. He be on his production shit. He be, you know, doing the filmography and the photography.
Oh,
and shit,
shots by Nino?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my
that
dog.
nigga fire.
That's my dog, man.
I
Holla
didn't
at
know you
him.
knew him.
Yeah, that's
that
my
nigga
boy,
is
man.
dope. That nigga just went to a photography competition and placed second. That nigga is dope.
He's
nigga.
fire, bro.
The
That's
way
my
he does
dog.
those real deep dark ass images,
Yes.
I fuck with that shit, dog.
Yeah, that's
I
my
don't
guy,
know why
man.
you got me on the photography topic because I'll talk about that shit all
Yeah,
day.
man. Well, like I said, I
But
just want to
he's
get.
dope,
I just
though.
want to
I
give
fuck with
credit,
him.
man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I want to shout him out too, man, because he be doing his thing. And I told him, I was like, I see you, bruh. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I know I be busy and I won't like always comment on everything that everybody posts and all this stuff. But I be watching, and you know what I'm saying? I be seeing who be staying consistent,
Oh,
who
yeah,
be
that
on his
nigga's
shit.
dope.
So
I was talking to that nigga when we was at Culture Fest.
yeah. Nah, he's very, very talented, man.
I was surprised that nigga knew me too.
Yeah, he
That was our first
he
time
keep his
meeting.
ear to the ground, man. So he be knowing people, like, you know what I'm saying? He stay to himself, but he also be out there like getting his shit out there. So like, yeah, shout out to my dog, man.
Speaking of staying to self, I want to talk about one more personal topic.
Okay.
You was talking earlier when we was talking about the Christmas tree shit.
Okay.
About how you wouldn't have nobody over, so it don't matter. Like, do you feel like you being kind of like working on yourself, you kind of broke away from being around other people?
Yes, and I'll say the reason why. It's not so much of breaking away from people because unfortunately the pandemic had a lot to do with that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I stay to the people who serve me, like the people who contribute to my happiness or contribute to something that I have going on. I try to keep those people around, and you know, if I don't feel like you really contribute to my happiness or, you know, something to propel me to moving forward and whatever ventures that I have, then I don't really, you know, it's no love loss. Like, I don't, you know, I have a lot of people that I used to hang out with back in the day that don't contribute to those things, and because of the love that we once had, I still have the same love, but you know, they might not be in my life now, and I'm also okay with that too. I'm a big believer of, there was a statement I made even going back to past relationship that I don't necessarily believe in the what's the nothing lasts forever. Mm-hmm. You know, people like, oh, you know, it wasn't meant to be. Yeah, I don't feel like it wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be forever.
That song was
So
fire, by the way.
huh?
That song was fire. What it was? Rich Boy.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
things don't last forever, baby.
You see what type of music he listens
Polo
to?
the Dawn. That's old, bro.
I know
But
what you're talking
I
about.
feel like
Say, man, that's a classic.
you know, a lot of people hang their heads, like if they get in a relationship and it fails, then they're like, oh, you know, that's fucked up. I hate you wasting my time. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like it was a waste of time. All my relationships were meaningful. They just was meaningful for that time, and I'm in a different period and time of my life, and they served its purpose for that time. So, it's like I said before.
Well, how do you feel about this? I always say that if me and my girl don't work out, I'll never get another relationship.
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've been single since my last relationship, but I'm not gonna say I won't be in another relationship. Like I said, that relationship served its purpose for the time, and if you and your girl was a split, then that relationship served its time. You've learned what you learned from that, so you did learn a lot from that relationship, whether you know it or not. Even if you're angry at the situation and how it turned out, you still learned a lot from that. So you know, hold your head high on the knowledge that you gain from that, and you take that into your future, you know, whatever.
To me, now I don't know, how everybody else feel, but to me, my girl is like so perfect. Like as far as our relationship, to me, that if me and her don't work out, if I can't make it work with her, then I'm just gonna hang and slang.
So the first thing you have to get out your head is that nobody is perfect, and then
I'm talking about for me.
I can understand that, but nobody is perfect. You have to realize that point first, and then the other point that you have to realize is people are fickle by nature. Humans are fickle by nature, and that's why my stance on marriage has changed. I don't actually feel like I want to get married anymore because I do understand that people are fickle and that we might be heavily in love at a certain point in time, but that could change 10 years, 15, 20 years down the
You're
line.
not willing to take any chances on.
It's not about not taking chances. It's about understanding of. I understand that people are fickle, and I'm willing to take chances, but at the same time, I'm not gonna beat myself up about something failing because I do understand that people are fickle.
What Stan is saying, and I don't want to speak for him, but me as president, when I go against you and I'm gonna win, I'm gonna make marriage license renewable every 5 years. A marriage license is not gonna be forever. You're gonna be able to renew them. That's what Stan is speaking of.
I'm actually okay with never getting married. I'm okay with never getting married.
But you're not saying that you don't want to have a partnership with someone.
No, I'm not saying that. But I am also okay with us having a partnership and having other people involved in that partnership as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, you wow.
I'm saying that because I do understand that people are fickle, and you might feel this way about this person for a certain amount of time frame, and then you might start to not have that feeling anymore. But then if
Are
you
you
build,
really about that though?
I am.
Have you tried it out yet?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I don't think you about that shit, bro.
Well, that remains to be seen.
I ain't gonna say
that remains to be
I
seen.
don't think so neither.
That remains to be seen.
I think you're underestimating the male ego.
Well,
I
also think that I've gotten to a point where I've understood the male ego very heavily in being single, and almost realizing that it's not really a real thing.
It's real.
It's superficial. If you go into things with the correct expectations or the right expectations, then you leave room for little disappointment. And if you're going to it like, this is my perfect little angel and she's only going to be for me, she thinks my dick is the biggest, she thinks my sex is the greatest, then you will leave room for disappointment when she starts to venture out and find other guys that she might think is better than you in certain fields. But if you go into it with the understanding that you're not, you might not be the best to her or whatever the case, then you don't have that room for disappointment, because you're like, all right, well, you enjoy what we have for the moment, and then you might want to, step out for a second and do whatever. And same thing with me. And that's how I feel about it right now.
So you can sit there and watch your queen.
I ain't say I was gonna watch it. No, wait a minute. I ain't say nothing about that. I ain't say I'm about to sit there and be watching this shit.
I ain't gonna lie. I turn them weird ass porns off. I'm not watching no niggas slay no white bitch out next to a
make my
white
wife
man.
come in front of me.
The cuckold.
Yeah, I ain't doing that. I ain't say that,
bro. I had a partner ask me to do that. R.I.P. to him, but I had a partner ask me to do that, bro.
I can't do it, bro.
Yeah, that's weird. I did not do it. And my homeboy that was with me, shout out to Joe. That nigga Joe was like, boy, you tripping. You better. I was like, boy, I'm not doing that weird shit. But Stan, do you think that you have this viewpoint now? I don't know. I'm just gonna speak.
Go ahead.
It sounds like it comes from a place of you have been cheated on before, and also because you haven't been in a relationship in a minute right now. So you've formulated this in your mind that this is a a winning format moving forward.
It's not that it's a winning format. I realize that we are in a different society where people don't hold those same values as back in the day, where it's like, this is the person I'm marrying, this is the person I'm going to stay with forever. Because I even feel like back in the day, a lot of them cheated on each other too. They just chose to stay for the sake of families, and I don't really feel like people really give a fuck about that kind of shit nowadays. So do you think
humans can be monogamous?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's going to be a lot of hard work, and you're going to have those moments where you want to step out on both sides. And I think I'm at a point now where I'm being more open-minded to, I don't want to hold those restrictions against you and against myself.
I mean, but everybody has to have self-control.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask about the flesh.
I mean, I can just be this super violent person where I just want to slap motherfuckers all the time. But I can't do that. You know what I mean? I have to have some type of self-accountability. So, even though people may want to cheat, you shouldn't cheat if you're in a monogamous relationship. That's just what it comes down to.
But then it comes to the question of, do people really want to be in monogamous relationships? Because I feel like people start off, and a lot of people are emotion driven, so they go by what they feel at that moment. So when you first get with a girl and you're in that honeymoon stage, or the same thing if she gets with a guy and they're in that honeymoon stage, they don't really see themselves being with anybody else but that person. Over time, that might change, and I think I've come to realize that is a real thing. And I've become to be a little bit more open-minded about, well, how do you tackle those things? Because if it's a good partner for you and they still help you with other things outside of the sexuality of the relationship or the monogamous of the relationship, whatever the word is, if everything else works out and that's the only thing that, they might want to fuck somebody else or you want to fuck somebody else, do you really want to, get rid of that person that works out for literally everything else that's going on, which y'all have going on, just because you don't want to see them fuck somebody else?
I believe
but you know what I'm saying?
That men and women are the most powerful beings on earth.
But they're only beings on earth.
No.
Men and women beings, yes.
Well, creatures, okay.
Okay, creatures, okay.
And I feel like there is no limit to what we can accomplish and what we can do. If a human being puts his mind on something that he really wants to do, then there's nothing that can stop that person from achieving that, right? Do you agree?
I would agree.
So if you love somebody, or you say you love somebody, or you have this idea of what a relationship should be, then I don't see how you can fall victim to
giving into the flesh.
It's not falling victim, but you just said what you said is based off of emotions or how you felt at that moment. 20 years down the line, you might not feel that same way.
But you still have common sense.
What do you mean?
I mean, you still have a sound mind and body to the point where, okay, I may see another woman that I'm attracted to, but even though I may not feel the same way about this person I spent the last 20 years with, I still love her and respect her. I mean, there's just certain principles and morals that we stand on where we're, if you're that strong of a person and that driven of a person, there's nothing that can make you deviate from that.
But that can also have an adverse effect on your relationship with that person, because where you might be like, oh, I need to be faithful to this person because I really love them and I've devoted this much time to them. That can also make you resent that person, because it's like, dang, I really want to do these things, but I'm not doing them because of the fact that I'm with this person.
If you really want to do those things, then you have to be real with yourself, because it's not that person that's stopping you from doing that thing. It's you're not being true with yourself in the first place.
It's a mixture of it.
You're telling this person that, I'm this person, but I'm really, thinking something else. So you have to be real with yourself. If you don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, then don't be in a monogamous relationship.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, he's speaking of a polyamorous relationship.
No.
He is speaking on polyamorous.
He's saying if you're not feeling the same way about another person.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then you kind of go into that because of the fact that you realize that people can change over time, or people will change over time.
Okay, so
it's just human nature at a certain point.
Okay, so what
keeps that person to you?
I wouldn't say that, but if okay, let's say you spend 20 years with somebody and you guys are monogamous the whole way, but then you're saying that your feelings may change where you want to branch out. What if that's a one-way street? What if you feel this way, but your partner doesn't feel this way? Correct. Is it fair to that person? Is it fair to that person? I understand you saying you have to understand that people change, but is it fair to that person that you have been the same person with for 20 years?
What I'm saying is, because going back to what I even said about education and stuff, I'm not a quitter. So if I commit to something, then I'm going to commit to that. That doesn't change the fact that I might still feel a certain way about it. So even though I might still commit to being faithful to this person, I might feel like personally that I might be missing out on something, or I might personally start to resent this person because I want to live out whatever feelings that I have at that moment. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. If you understand that from jump, it might be a little bit easier if you be a little bit more open to that in the beginning and speak to that person. Hey, I do realize that things change. It might start off monogamous, but if you do feel like you have that feeling of you want to maybe pursue another person or whatever the case, how are we going to handle that? And those are conversations that people should have with each other. And I don't feel, because of pride, which I mentioned earlier, I don't feel like it's easy. It's an easy conversation to have because it is a pride thing. And at the end of the day, you don't want to feel like somebody's better than you or somebody likes somebody better than you. But it is a real thing. It's a real feeling. And it's just humans are fickle by nature. We change over time with, our views on stuff changes.
But I still don't feel like that's fair. That's just
it
fair
depends
statement.
on what you mean by fair. Because
you're saying you need to go into something with not expectations, but having this conversation when you're saying that 20 years from now it could change. So if you go into a relationship with a person who's saying, okay, I understand that people change, and maybe one day, we may want to see other people. And what if 20 years from now you change, but she still feels the same way?
Well, then that's a different conversation y'all have to have. Y'all have to have the conversation of, all right, listen, this is where I'm at right now. And that's the problem with a lot of relationships. People don't have these conversations because of the fact they're trying to spare feelings. You have to be, real with your counterpart. If this is somebody you about to spend 60, 70, 80 years with, you got to be able to have those conversations. Might change over time, where y'all might have started at 20 where you're like, oh, I only want you, I only want to be with you. 40, 50, you might not feel like that no more. So now it's a different conversation. How do you currently feel about our relationship, and how do you feel about a monogamous relationship or whatever the case? I think that's kind of like stuff like Will and Jada maybe deal with.
That's what I was thinking while you was talking.
Yeah, I mean, they might deal with that too.
How you do you think their relationship worked? Of course, we don't know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, you don't know. I feel like that Will probably might, because just based off of the way he was responding to the interview and stuff, I feel like they might have kind of been in that same space, whereas things have changed over time. And, we might have different viewpoints on what it takes to have a successful relationship, or whatever we even think of a successful relationship. Because they still take care of the kids, they still take care of the household and all that stuff, but they just might fuck other people. They might be all right with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to kind of be a little bit open-minded when it comes to those kind of things.
And I think with their situation, they've always had that arrangement from what I was viewing. But that one particular incident, I think Will disagree with that person.
Call it an entanglement.
Man, well, that situation was weird anyway because wasn't Buddy cool with Jaden? Like, wasn't Jaden homeboy? See, that's a little different because it's like, all right, now you talking about my son bringing his homeboy around and you fucking his own boy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think they always was in a space where they could have those conversations, and then you know, they may have had that conversation and Will said he didn't agree with it, but she did it anyway. And I think that's where everything got fucked up.
Which comes back to what I was saying before. You got to have those open conversations. You got to be truthful to each other. And if she wasn't being truthful and she was doing the shit behind Will and Jaden back for that matter, then that's a whole different conversation.
I think August Alsina fucked
because then that just
too.
go back to the same thing as cheating at that point.
Oh, he fucked that little ass girl when he fucked her mama.
Wait, you said you fucked Willow?
Oh, Jaden, the boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jaden's the boy.
Out.
I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know he fucked Willow.
I'm
tripping.
I'm tripping.
I'm about to say that's a whole different situation. Man.
Why you feel that way?
I think Jaden might have told Jada what was up.
I ain't gonna hold you. As Jaden, me and him would have had to run the fade because my homeboy ain't about to be in we playing 2K. Then you go in my mom's room and fuck my mom's. Like,
I think
that's
Jaden
crazy.
might have told moms what's up.
Yeah, and then mom was like, all right, I got to see what that's about.
Oh, come on, man. I see what you're saying. Chill out,
it's
man.
It's some freaky shit
I mean,
in
you're
Hollywood,
right.
bro.
You're right, but
Hollywood got
chill
some
out,
freaky
man.
shit going on, bro.
Yeah.
And then Jaden had this whole little press run when he kept on saying Tyler, the Creator, was his boyfriend.
Which was weird.
And you don't think with August Alsina being in whatever dark, deep, crazy place he was in, he wasn't, susceptible to...
Hey, I
ain't talking about that.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I feel like we've made really good strides at accepting homosexuality. Mm-hmm. And now I just want a lot more people to be open and honest with their sexuality. Not saying it's everybody's business to know what your sexuality is, but we should get to a point where people are able to express it and speak freely on it. Like, hey, I'm a man that enjoy men also.
That's not everybody's reality.
Unfortunately. Especially in the South.
I promise you, it's people who are just terrified to come out just because of their family, their church members, their friends.
So how do you think we get to that point where people can be honest and open about that?
My nigga, they still don't accept black people. Gay people just got on there, 2016? I mean, they got to take time, bro. They got to put their time in. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of conversation, to open people up. Because even though everything is out in the open now, there are still people that's closed-minded. People saying they could never be friends with gay people. You know what I mean? Never hang out with gay people. And, we
had that conversation before.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it. But
I think you took it the wrong way when I said it, though. And I'll speak on it on the podcast. I told Kel that I wouldn't enjoy hanging around somebody that's gay because I feel like you hang out with your friends because of common interests. Not saying that me and a gay person wouldn't have common interests. It's just that certain things that they would do, I wouldn't do. And I can use a different example. It's kind of like
one thing you don't have in common.
It's kind of okay. It's kind of like with me and a female. We have things in common, of course, but I'd rather be playing Madden instead of us arguing about what we're gonna watch on YouTube. So like, what I'm supposed to? Let's say, okay, it's a male gay guy. He's my best friend. We hang out every day, all day. Mm-hmm. What about the times where we don't have things in common, where he enjoys doing makeup and I enjoy playing Madden?
Every gay nigga doesn't like makeup.
I'm just using that as an example.
I'm saying, bro, listen.
But then I would counter that with everybody that you hang out with has some different interest in you.
Right.
And so,
correct.
that's just one of those things that y'all don't connect on, but then the things that y'all do connect on, y'all still connect
That's
on.
what I'm saying. Like,
all right, let me be
like
more
in college,
transparent.
you had roommates, right? Mm-hmm. And you probably was cool with maybe one or two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all have common interests, but it's shit that they do that you just not into.
Well, my situation was different because my brother and one of my good friends was my roommate.
Okay, but it's even with you living with your brother or anybody, it's certain shit that y'all have in common, but it's certain shit that they do that you just not gonna fuck with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I like the enjoying the company of women late night, and my homeboy that was my roommate used to come to the door and look and be like, another one.
I mean, but everybody's different. So I mean, you try to like generalize, you know, you not having something in common with them when it's only really one main thing that
Okay, but see,
separates y'all.
I think you took the conversation too literal, because I was more so speaking of like the flamboyantly gay person and like them enjoying, you know, things that I wasn't into, and them trying to have conversations with me about things I just wouldn't like talking about.
I mean, but that's any type of relationship. You get in a relationship with a woman, and it's a lot of shit y'all don't have in common. You think my girl play 2K or Call of Duty? You think she likes cigars? She hates smoke. She doesn't drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand.
But see, when I'm in those situations with women, I shy away from that type stuff. Like, you go to your room and you do your makeup, and can I watch football?
So then it's kind of more or less the same thing with the gay person. I agree with what he's saying, is that I have gay friends, and you know, we don't talk about those things to each other when it comes to like sexuality and just who we are, you know, having sex with or whatever. But everything else that we have in common, that's what we link on. And it's the same
Kev,
thing.
let me tell you real
it's the
quick.
same thing with, you know, your straight friends or whatever. Like, you know, the things that y'all don't really bond over or whatever the case, and y'all just don't really interact with each other.
Is going to tell you about how another dude blew their back out.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what they got
cool.
the other gay friends for.
It's cool.
You would hope that. But but nah, for real though, like, I'm gonna tell you something. You might laugh at this, but I have gay friends. I don't have any openly gay friends.
I think I'm on the. I might be on the opposite of that. I think all of the friends that I have that are gay are pretty openly gay. Yeah.
I don't have any openly gay friends. And every friend that I have that's gay has never told me they're gay.
Do you think they feel comfortable telling you that they're gay?
I don't think they feel comfortable telling any of our friends that they're gay.
And why is that? Why do you think they're
because the same thing you were saying, as far as like societal norms and, you know, worrying about judgment.
And so you asked the question, what do we have to do to make a safe space for people to just come out? Mm-hmm. So what do you think you need to do as a friend for people you know are gay, but they're afraid to come out? What do you think you should do?
See, I've seen people come at these same people that I'm talking about and speak of them being gay and watching them be standoffish. So that confuses me on like what's the next protocol, because obviously talking about it openly and saying that they're gay isn't the answer, because
honestly, I feel like right now is a good time. You're on your podcast. If they listen to your podcast and stuff, you can say, "Hey, I know that you're gay. I accept that you're gay. You're still my friend. You're still cool." You say that right now. Honestly,
I could say that, but I'm pretty sure they know that some of their other friends don't feel that same way,
and that's fine though.
But
that's fine.
I've heard them say that out loud.
But that's other people though. Like I'm saying, as long as they understand where they stand with you,
I don't mind. I don't mind admitting, and I also I don't mind admitting my past. It's tired, bro, because I was still spitting. I was just honest with mine.
No, I like both of y'all points though. I like both of y'all points on it.
I mean, you was honest with yours, but I feel like the gay people would be tired. Like, I feel like you think I came off as homophobic, and I know I didn't come off as homophobic. Because for some reason, I'm going to say this shit, bro. I've been wanting to say this for a long time.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I haven't said this, like, on no podcast or nothing.
Okay.
We have this crazy thing nowadays of people throwing phobic on everything. So if you say anything regarding any kind of topic, you're phobic. And as far as the homophobic thing, people throw that on everything. Like, maybe I just don't want to be around people with red hair. Okay. That's an issue? Maybe I'm okay with you having red hair. I just don't want to be around red hair.
Why?
Why does it matter? That's a horrible example. But, okay.
Yeah, it's a terrible example.
Okay, better example. My bad. Better example. I've been drinking. Better example. maybe I respect you as a person and I love you to death, but you scam and sell drugs and I just don't want to be around you.
You scammerphobic.
I'm scammerphobic. See what I'm saying?
No, but that's a difference, bro. You telling me that you don't want to be around somebody who does illegal shit. That's not gonna move me.
Okay, well now let me be more transparent. Okay. This person is gay. I have no problem with this person being gay, but I'd rather not go to a gay party where it's a lot of men hitting on each other and I'm in the same room as this and they're looking at me like, hey, so they're hitting on me.
Straight people go to gay parties.
Well, I was going to even take it a
do.
step further that with your homegirls, you might not go to a party with your homegirls around all of their other homegirls and they chasing the guys and stuff and you the only guy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, really. So it's just like...
We can't call somebody homophobic because they don't want to go to the gay party. Like, okay, Blue told me something recently. One of his close friends has a cousin that's gay and he went to I forgot what it's called. What's it called when the men drag? It was like a drag competition. It was a drag competition. They went to the drag competition or whatever, and he went with his girl, and guys was hitting on him, and he was confused, like, what the fuck? I came to support my cousin, and there was guys in here hitting on me. They closed minded and blah blah. And he also called Blue homophobic because Blue didn't want to go. Why would you call somebody homophobic because they don't want to go somewhere for the same reason why when you went, you faced the same issues as you thought would happen?
I mean, but...
Why is that person homophobic because they don't want to go somewhere that I don't want to go to a WNBA game? I hate women also, huh? Them bitches can't dunk.
Some of them can.
Candace Parker has dunked 19 times in her career. Allen Iverson is shorter than me, and he has dunked 60 sometimes.
Listen, okay, I agree with the point that every little thing shouldn't like put you into a category.
Did I say Candace Parker? I meant Brittany Griner. My bad.
Candace Parker can dunk too, though.
Yeah, I think she dunked like 6 times or some shit.
Anyway, I think you can.
He not fucking with me in my takes.
You can. You shouldn't be categorized in the first place for every little thing you do, but if it's repeated behavior, and like we just know how you feel about something, then we can call a spade a spade.
Why? But why call everybody homophobic though? I never understood this.
Listen, I understand that everybody is not homophobic, and you shouldn't call everybody homophobic. But my nigga, it's people out here that are homophobic.
I agree.
So I mean, call a spade a spade.
But
you're disagreeing with you putting it on every little thing somebody says or does, or if you disagree with something, you're automatically in the category. Which I agree with you.
Yeah.
But if it fits you, then it's just you.
Okay, I agree with that.
I mean, I'm not calling you homophobic, but I'm just saying, like, okay, I'm not just gonna say, okay, if a nigga say gay people weird, I'm just gonna call them homophobic. Okay, but if over time I see that there's a certain behavior towards gay people,
right,
I was like, okay, that nigga doesn't fuck with gay people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He feels a certain type of way with it, with whatever he got going on, and he may be categorized that way. So I'm not gonna say if one person says one bad thing, just like Kevin Hart, I wouldn't call him homophobic because he made a fucking gay joke. Right. Jesus Christ. But if over time the whole basis of his stand up has been against gay people, then okay, you know what I mean.
Was Kevin Hart's comments like that bad?
Yeah, I mean, he said that if his son, he
would throw the toy or some shit.
Yeah,
that's
not bad.
It's not. No, I agree.
Everybody growing up in a black household has heard those types of jokes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I know for a fact that a lot of black parents would still accept their kids if they were gay.
There's a lot that won't, though.
And I know it's a lot that won't, but it's still a lot that will. But I mean,
a lot of that shit come down to that whole religion shit too. Like a
that's
lot
why
of
that
the
religion.
people, man,
All right.
God, man, I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah.
Bro.
So
can.
how was your New Year's?
You know how I feel about that religion. You know how I
I
feel about
don't
that
want to get
religion
into
shit,
religious
nigga.
stuff, man.
But I did tell you though, y'all better hope I'm fucking right. Cause if there's a God, y'all folks cracking jokes about this lady getting shot in that Capitol building is going to hell. First
Pow.
class. See what I'm saying? You going. Guns blazing,
I don't have no
smoking.
sympathy for that shit, bro.
Man.
Cause you know what? The same motherfuckers, the same people that go to church every Sunday, and deacons in their church, pastors, preachers, or whatever. You know, those be the same motherfuckers that'll see a black person get killed in the streets for nothing and justify that shit. You know what I mean? And have no sympathy for us. So what the fuck? I'm not gonna have any sympathy for them.
Do me a favor though. When you get there, tell Hitler I said great book, horrible mindset.
You think you're going to heaven with supporting Hitler?
Me and
You
King,
support Hitler.
I do not support Hitler. This nigga, that's a wild take. Who said I support
That's
Hitler?
wild. That
I
is
said
a wild
great
take
book,
for real.
great book, horrible
Listen,
mindset.
I just had this whole conversation about if somebody says something one time, I'm not going to put it on the category, but if they show that behavior over time,
You did say that.
dog, you've championed Hitler for a while now
I have?
as a leader.
Bro, we've had conversations about leadership and I've used Hitler as an example.
As
An example.
an example of what?
A leader.
Of what type of leader?
Bro, stop playing with me. I was not championing Hitler as a leader. I was strictly speaking
so
on
now
his
you're Hitlerphobic.
leadership. His leadership qualities, bro. And that's what you want to do as a leader. And I probably also talked about Helter Skelter, didn't I? Because I always talk about those two.
I know you talk about Charles Manson.
Bruh, it's three people I always talk about. Yeah, that's Helter Skelter. It's three people I always talk about when I talk about leadership. I talk about Hitler, Helter Skelter, and Martin Luther King.
That's a crazy top three.
Those are the people I always talk about.
That shit is a wild top three.
Bro, I'm a different type person, bro. I'm sorry. I'm a different type person.
Can we get into the alpha male thing real quick?
Oh, yeah, we can.
What's the alpha male?
What is an alpha male? An alpha male isn't what everybody thinks it is. Mm-hmm. An alpha male isn't the man that walks into the room and beats on his chest and be like, "You fucking queer, you can't do 50 push-ups." That's what people think. So when they hear me, this nigga's talking about, huh? So when they hear me speak on alpha versus betas, I guess I come off as that as saying like, "Oh, you a bitch ass nigga because you listen to Drake and you cry on your pillow every night." That is not what I mean as a beta.
I think it's just simple as a leader and a follower.
A lot more complex though. Because
agree.
there's certain types of leaders, right? So I use this as an example all the time. There's me and there's Big King, right? Big King leads like how your mother would lead. I lead how your dad would lead. And that does not mean that he's not an alpha male. That's just the way he chooses to lead.
So, you have to explain that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
I'm about
ask you
to.
to
I'm about to.
elaborate.
Are you just talking about like traditional gender roles?
No, I wasn't even talking about gender roles. I was just speaking on like, so I would choose to lead in the front line by example and also be very stern with my leadership and have certain traits that you can and cannot do and stick to them in certain guidelines. He wouldn't lead like that. He would lead by breaking down the psyche of each person and dealing with each person differently. I would approach it more so of a militant mindset. Like, okay, this is going to be our standard and this is how we're going to move. He wouldn't. He'll be like, this person is like this, so I'm going to treat this person like this. This person is like that, I'm going to treat this person like that. So therefore, like, let's say he's dealing with somebody like me and he's dealing with like, I don't know, somebody that's a little more emotional than me. He would talk to me a certain way and talk to them a certain way. I wouldn't. I would talk.
I wouldn't
to both
use
the
mother
same
and
way.
father in that example again.
That's what your mom would do.
No. I mean, I just wouldn't use that with that example. You made a great point in like comparing the two in the contrast, but I wouldn't just say like your mother and your father would lead.
So what do you think is an alpha male and a beta male?
I mean, like I said, I think it's as simple as a leader and a follower. I don't think a leader is by title. I think it's by actions.
Okay.
Someone that puts people before them to achieve a greater goal. Somebody that leads by example. And somebody who stands on their principles.
Stan, before you say what you think,
Okay.
I want to also speak on something else. A lot of people view a beta male as something bad, something that's horrible. Like, you're a beta male, you're soft, you're weak. I have friends that I have a lot of respect for that are beta males, because there's different categories of a beta male. Your stereotypical beta male, you rarely see those people. Those are like a small percentage of men. There's also beta males.
Percentage, but go ahead.
Nah, I think it's small. I think it's like 20%.
I don't at all.
There's
Way more.
there's also beta males that kind of just don't give a fuck, and that's your man that's kind of in a relationship with a woman and he lets her have her way because he just strictly doesn't care. Like, he's not no bitch ass man.
I agree
he
with
just
that part.
doesn't care, and he's like, you know what? You can have that. I actually want a ribs tonight, but you want a chicken, so fuck it. We can just have chicken. He's a beta male, but he's not a beta male as far as in the sense of like, oh, he a bitch ass nigga. Like, no, he's not a bitch
I can agree
ass
with what
nigga.
he's saying right there.
Yeah, he's not a bitch ass nigga. And also, all alpha males aren't good alpha males. I know somebody that pretends to be an alpha male that's super beta. Be in the house with he's a white man too. Be in the house with his girl making fucking frappes every morning and shit.
Okay. Stop. If we're talking about alpha versus beta, let's get away from how they act in a relationship.
So
Because
you want to talk about?
I think that's a completely
You want to talk about the
conversation.
characteristics of a man?
Yeah, because
right.
that doesn't make you, because there's different.
Correct.
Y'all are both correct though.
Because you're getting into the gender roles and other aspects of, just being in a relationship versus then what makes you an alpha male versus a beta male.
But what he's saying, what y'all are both correct. Cause what are getting. So what I feel like between beta male and alpha male is going back to what I was saying earlier about. There's a certain level of self-confidence where you stand firm on your actions and your decisions, and that kind of transcends into your ability to lead. So for instance, you have a family, or even if you're in a work environment, as an alpha, you're like, all right, I think this is what it takes for us to be successful. I stand on that, and I'm going to lead you guys into that. And even if we fail, I'm okay with that failure. I'm going to help us get, if we fail, then I'm going to help us fix that issue. Whereas beta is kind of more of the passive. They kind of sit back a little bit, and they're like, I'll allow somebody else to take that chance. And if they fail, then that failure is on them. It's not so much on me, but the alpha kind of takes it all on the chin, and they're like, "Hey, if I fuck up, then I'll take that fuck up. I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna take the responsibility of if I do fuck up, then I'm gonna fix that." Whereas the alpha might be a little bit more passive with that. That's how I feel the difference between alpha and beta, and that will go into what you were saying about relationships, where they kind of will take that. They're okay with taking that second seat or that back seat and let somebody else make a decision or something like that, and just for the simple fact of not having that pressure on themselves. Where the alpha, you take that pressure head on. You're like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and we gonna do this, and then if it doesn't work, I'm gonna take that on the chin, but then I'm gonna also help us get out of that situation. So that's why I feel the difference between alpha and beta.
Typically a beta male is someone that honestly needs a host. They need
more or
they
less.
need someone that's there for them that they can follow off of. Like, perfect example, we're both about to start this apple business. We're going to sell apples. A beta male, you literally can give them the apples and they would just sit there and be like, so what you think I should do next?
Yes.
An alpha male take the forefront and be like, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this.
Correct.
And we're going to figure it out. Kind of like
Correct.
minions. That's what a beta male would be, a minion. But also, this is why I say I feel like that category of a beta male is a smaller percentage. 20 probably is kind of wild, but I think it's a smaller percentage. Than there's also beta males that's really strong men that work very hard, that's just unable to lead.
Correct. Alphas are generally leaders, good or bad. Because just because you're a leader doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to be right or that you're going to always follow the correct path. You might fuck up, but you're going to wear that. And you're going, all right, well, then I fucked that up. And now I got to get us it. And, you know, I'll attribute it to my current position. I've been in my position, 5 years or whatever. There's been times that I've led my team to doing something incorrect. But I take that on the chin, and when I go to these meetings and stuff, and it's like, why did we fail on this? I directed my team to do this. It didn't work out. Here's my plan on how we fix that. That I feel like that is my definition of being an alpha male, or just an alpha in general. Hey, listen, you know, I'm the leader of this front, and the decision I made caused all of us to fail. I'm okay with that. And this is how we're going to fix it going forward. But a beta probably wouldn't take that same initiative. They might take the back seat and like, oh, well, this person told me to do it this way. You see what I'm saying?
I'll tell you something else about a leader, too. There's two different type leaders also. There's leaders that was born into leadership, and there's leaders that develop that trait going on. And I'm not saying one is less than the other, but you have to know who you are and know where you stand and where you want to be. So therefore, there's a lot of betas that come into leadership positions and don't know how to handle that position. Kind of like the military. Like, I remember, like, growing up, my mom was in the military and she would come home and talk to me about her leadership, and I would be like, damn, that's a horrible leader. Like, that's somebody who should never have been in that position, and now they're in that position and they don't know how to stand down.
I mean, if I want to be 100% transparent, I would even use myself as an example. I don't think I actually necessarily started off as an alpha. I think I did start off as a beta, somebody who would be okay with taking a backseat and let somebody else make the mistakes, and I can kind of hide behind their forefront and try to learn from that. But then eventually I learned from those things and became an alpha, and like, all right, I'm okay with now leading somebody, leading other people and making those mistakes myself and taking it on the chin. So you don't, just because somebody is a beta doesn't necessarily mean that they can't become an alpha. I do feel like, people can become an alpha, but some people might choose to stay in that passive role of letting somebody else lead or let somebody else take the forefront. So I mean, it's interchangeable. It's interchangeable.
The scariest thing though is somebody that like fiends for that leadership, bro. That's when shit gets sticky and scary, because I'll tell everybody out there, being a leader isn't what it's all cracked up to
It's
be.
definitely not.
That shit gets hard. That shit gets
Yes,
scary.
it does.
And that's why I say about like being born into it. I was born into a leadership role that I didn't sign up for, and I'm still here, and I didn't sign up for this shit, but it's just what I gotta do.
Fair
and
enough.
I'm speaking of like my family situation. Like, we was talking about growing up in households without dads. I'm the dad, and I made decisions that was horrible because I was a fucking child, and now I have to live with them. I have to live with the fact of knowing that I would never have a brother relationship with neither of my brothers. I have to live with that shit. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be completely honest. That shit hurts me like a motherfucker.
But that
now
can
I have to
change,
be
though.
here.
But you don't have to stay in that because that's how it started out. It could start out that way, and you can change that because you have enough self-awareness now that you realize that that's a problem from your past, and you can now change. But you can change that narrative.
Now it's not up to me. I have to wait for them to be forgiveful.
However, you can take the initiative of trying to teach them those ways, and they might not understand it, or they might not try to understand what you're saying. That's fine.
It's just like trying to teach a grown ass man how to speak a foreign language. It's way easier to teach a child. So as a grown up, it's kind of hard to go up to that person and be like, "Hey, I know I made these mistakes or whatever, but now I want to move forward." And they're looking like, "Nigga, now you want to do that?" And that's the position that.
But then you got to kind of take it's a degree of difficulty of. You got to just change the narrative. Yeah, you got to change the narrative a little bit, and you got to teach them different. Hey, man, we were wrong about this. You know, whatever we thought all these years, we were wrong about that.
But imagine like that same thing trying to like teach your parents that, like, bruh, it'll be like pulling teeth. Me trying to have a conversation with my mom about why spankings are wrong.
I feel like that's a generational.
You're not gonna whoop your kids?
No, I grew up getting my ass whooped, and that shit ain't never do shit for me.
I agree.
Now it might have stopped me from trying to put a piece of candy in my pocket because of fear, but it never like nourished my brain. Every kid is different. Some kids you can beat fear into them. You can't beat fear into me. I'm willing to die for shit I believe in.
I feel like what you were just saying about because of the fact that you got beat when you were younger, you're not gonna do that to your kids. That can have a butterfly effect, whereas it might not have the same problems that you had from getting beat. You might create new problems that you didn't necessarily deal with as a child that your kids are now going to deal with. Mm-hmm. So I actually do agree with that theory of, you know, sometimes, you know, you don't have to change things so drastically. Like, I got beat all the time and I hated it. It made me resent my parents and stuff. But then in a way that could have also made you a good person. It could have made you an aware person of, you might still do some head ass shit, but you might think twice about it. Whereas a person who doesn't have that discipline in their life, they don't have that fear of anything. They might not think twice about certain things, and they might go out and do shit that's head ass as fuck and not even think twice about it.
But why do they have to have fear about something?
It's not necessarily that they have to have fear about it, but they do have to have some type of reserve about it. Mm-hmm. And
the spanking comes from fear, bro.
I know
it's fear, but it also comes from reserve because it's like, it teaches. There's the thing of,
but there's no other
actions and consequences.
Right. But there's no other way to teach.
There is other ways, and we have to find those other ways because the ways of the previous generation was to whoop us.
I would never beat my kids, bro.
Why?
Fair enough.
Because it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't do anything.
But then what is the alternative? You have to have an alternative to it, though.
You can beat them and say, okay, I understand about the actions and consequences, but what did they learn from it? Just not to do this one thing or get a whooping? You know?
Or grounded. Because some people just ground their kids. Some people
I remember every time I was grounded.
Yeah.
Whoopings,
I actually probably might remember the grounded times more than the whooping times. Like the times where I couldn't go to
window
a dance
watching your friends play.
Exactly. I might remember something like that more than actually getting whooped. Because I might get whooped and be able to go back outside the next day or the next week. Yeah. But I might have missed this school dance where the girl that I really liked was there. I might remember that shit forever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you just find a different way to do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to just completely eliminate one thing.
I was gonna say that too. Like, a spanking ain't never did shit for me, but try to figure out a way not to get caught.
Exactly.
That's all.
Or a way not to get whooped.
I used to get suspended all the time, and then at a point, I just stopped telling her.
Yeah.
Shit. Just gave him my number instead of hers.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Life is interesting, and just the psychology of people is very interesting.
I just don't think that slave mentality shit
I
works.
agree. No,
I'm
with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
But I'm not gonna sit here and be ignorant to the fact that those times did teach me a lot. Like
I agree with that as well.
Blue says that I move on white people time, and that's because my stepdad used to beat the shit out of me if I was 30 seconds late. So now I'm always like 5 and 10 minutes early.
There's other ways to accomplish that.
I know, but I'm just speaking on my
But I
upbringing.
feel you. I feel you.
Just my.
That was just the way
upbringing,
that
that's how it
he
was.
learned it, and same. I agree with you.
That's just like, the nigga that fucked up the cotton. He got his ass 30 lashes. He ain't gonna fuck that cotton up no more.
I don't believe
it's the same
in
shit.
removing what somebody might have deemed as a solution without introducing a different solution.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's where
That's
what
my whole
it
thing
ultimately
with the
comes down
spanking.
to.
That's my whole thing with the spankings. Is
You can
that
remove
it's-
spankings.
it's
I'm
other
okay with
ways.
that because
It's
I don't
other ways.
necessarily believe in beating the shit out of children either.
I'll tell y'all.
But
a perfect
introduce
example.
a different solution though, because it's not just I'm not going to do anything about the bad shit they're doing because that's not helpful to them either.
You gotta have discipline.
There has to be
for
some
sure.
form of discipline.
But it's a movie I'm not really a big fan of, but the dad in the movie, I'm like, whoa, Boys in the Hood. Mm-hmm. How he raised Cooper Gunn Jr.
Yeah.
That was like picture perfect to me.
Yeah.
It's like, and I mean, he spanked him also, but he also taught him. Like it was more
When
than
did he
just a
whoop him?
spanking. I think he did spank him.
He never whooped him.
He didn't spank him in the movie? Oh, I'm wrong then. He didn't spank him. But like he implemented a little bit of fear, but it wasn't to the point where he couldn't come and talk to him. Like he came and
Right.
talked to him about sex, all that shit. Me and my mom never talked about sex. Never.
I actually kind of relate a lot with me being in that role, like my dad being like that too. Like he was very hard on me like that, where my cousins might have been able to be ripping and running the streets a little bit more. So I kind of relate to that, like the fact that you brought that up, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like times is just different now in that we have more education, so we're able to do things that our parents weren't able to do.
But it also goes to that whole generation, like we was talking earlier about talking to like the young guys now, like us kind of being like the older heads now and stuff like that. I don't like when people like don't do this and don't do that. You can't really tell somebody that without introducing a solution to whatever the issue is. So
That's what most problems.
yeah,
But I gotta wrap the pod up, man. This was a great pod. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I know we talked about a lot on this podcast, but the best thing I got from this is that I definitely will win a presidential race against Kel. And I already figured it out. He's gonna try to paint me out to be homophobic.
I would never run any negative ads against you. I think you would ruin yourself.
oh,
I
shit.
wouldn't.
I think you would.
Bruh, I don't think you've seen me in my bag before.
For a person just to have just said that you would die for the shit you believe in, you believe in some crazy shit. To me, I feel
I relate
that-
to T.I. more than I like to admit.
and that's wild. T.I., for all of his virtuous things that he has going on, he's not a great example of a person to me.
Some things that T.I. believes in, I also believe in as a person.
I don't really necessarily believe in the views that he has on women and girls like growing up to be women.
Oh yeah,
Some of that
I'm
shit
not
is-
speaking of those type things, but that's for another day. I can tell y'all off the camera, but I appreciate y'all getting
Cut
on
this
the
camera
pod.
off. I'm ready to get wild now.